Dear shareholders, good morning and a very warm welcome to the 44th Annual General Meeting of Housing Development Finance Corporation Limited through video conferencing. As a reminder for the smooth conduct of the meeting, the members will be in the mute mode, and audio and video will be open when they speak at the AGM as per the pre-registration. Please note that as per the requirements, the proceedings of the annual general meeting will be recorded and available on the website of the company. I now hand over the proceedings to Mr. Deepak S. Parekh, Chairman of Housing Development Finance Corporation Limited. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Dear shareholders, good morning to all of you. I hope you and your family are safe and in good health. On behalf of the Board of Directors and on my behalf, I welcome you all to the 44th Annual General Meeting of your corporation, conducted through video conferencing. It is 11 a.m. and I have been informed that the necessary quorum is present. I accordingly call this meeting to order. I'm happy to announce that we have a full attendance of the board at this AGM, and I'd like to thank all the directors for making yourself available despite this being a busy period for AGMs and board meetings. At the outset, I'd like to mention that as per applicable law, the tenure of Mr. Nasser Manji and Dr. J.J. Irani as independent directors of the corporation ends on the close of business hours today. On behalf of the corporation and its board, I would like to place on record our gratitude to both the directors. Mr. Nasser Manji has been associated with HDFC for 43 years and has seen the company grow from inception to where it stands today. Dr. J.J. Irani is a veteran director of the corporation and has played a critical role as chairman of the Nomination and Remuneration Committee of the corporation. The corporation has benefited immensely from their vast experience and wise counsel. We will always be indebted to them for their contribution over the years. Thank you once again, Nasser, for all the wisdom you have shared with us, and I value your every contribution to HDFC, then to IDFC, and to me personally. It'll be a big loss for us to see you go, Nasser. Thank you also, Jamshed. I shall always be grateful for the experience, the expertise, your wise counsel, and your varied perspectives, particularly in leading the NRC for so many years. In attendance at this AGM are representatives of the statutory auditors, secretarial auditors, and the scrutinizer. Members of the senior management and company secretary are also participating in this meeting. Since there is no physical presence of shareholders, the requirement of appointing proxies was not available to the members of the corporation. The registrars and other documents as required are available for online inspection during the AGM. I'll now proceed with the agenda for the meeting. Owing to the pandemic, the annual report and notice convening the AGM were sent through email to members whose email addresses are registered. The notice and annual report are also available on the corporation's website. We have taken adequate steps and efforts to enable the members to participate and vote on items being considered at this meeting. Since there are no qualifications, observations, or comments on the financial or matters which have any adverse effect on the functioning of the corporation, in the statutory auditor's report and the secretarial auditor's report, the same are not required to be read. I hope you have read the annual report and assessed the standalone and consolidated performance during the last financial year and are aware of the resolutions proposed to be passed at this meeting. There are 10 resolutions which are being passed today. The 9th and 10th resolution are special resolutions pertaining to increase in borrowing powers of the corporation and issuing of non-convertible debentures in hybrid format. In terms of the overall macroeconomic environment, the key challenge remains the unpredictability of the virus. The world is still susceptible to recurring waves of infections. Thus, economic recovery will remain uneven and patchy. Owing to the second wave, the Indian economy is likely to mirror a similar trend as seen last year in financial year 21, wherein the first half of the financial year is weaker and the second half is significantly stronger. I remain confident that India's macroeconomic fundamentals are strong, recovery is underway, and there are a number of positive factors we have to look forward to, such as our foreign exchange reserves and foreign direct investment inflows have scaled record highs despite the pandemic. Capital markets are buoyant. IPO market is even more buoyant. Agriculture growth is expected to remain strong, with food grain production estimated at over 305 million tons. The Reserve Bank of India is committed to supporting growth through an accommodative monetary policy. And the Government of India has taken several reforms and measures to alleviate COVID-19 related stress. The government has widened the scope of the Emergency Credit Line Guarantee Scheme to support individuals and to support businesses impacted by COVID-19. The scheme helps to channel credit to where it is needed the most. The key laggard remains overall credit growth, which continues to remain tepid. The pandemic has reaffirmed that there can be no greater security in life than a home of your own. The inherent demand for home loans continues to remain strong. Even in terms of commercial real estate, most companies that we have talked to have not given up their office premises. With the e-commerce boom, demand for real estate is coming from warehousing and fulfillment centers. Similarly, with the build-up of digital infrastructure, demand for data centers have increased. These are segments of the real estate sector that have potential to grow immensely. Across the backdrop of the pandemic, HDFC had articulated that there are three key monitorables that we should be aware of and we should be working towards: liquidity, growth, and asset quality. It's always been liquidity, growth, and asset quality. The corporation has been maintaining higher levels of liquidity only as a prudent measure. In terms of growth, the national lockdown impacted individual loans, but once restrictions were eased, the demand surpassed all expectations. We are confident that demand for housing will continue to be strong. Asset quality has been challenging for non-individual loans at a systemic level. The corporation has always been prudent in identifying loans where there could be stress and has adequately provided for such loans. For instance, in the financial year 21, demand for housing was from both affordable housing segment as well as high-end property. The average size of individual loans stood at 29.5 lakhs this year compared to 27 lakhs in the previous year. The assets under management at March 31st, 2021 stood at 5,69,894 crores, recording a growth of 10%. Now, in accordance with regulatory norms, gross non-performing loans as at March 31st, 2021 stood at 9,759 crore, constituting 1.98% of the loan portfolio. As per regulatory norms, the corporation is required to carry total provisions of 5,491 crore. The actual provisions carried as at March 31st, 2021 stood at 13,025 crores. The provisions carried as a percentage of the exposure at default is equivalent to 2.62%. The standalone profit after tax for the year ended March 31st was 12,027. Based on the performance of the company, the board of directors recommended a dividend of 23 rupees per equity share of face value of 2 for the financial year 2021. As you recall, last year the board had recommended and the shareholders had approved a dividend of 21 rupees, which was 20.5% payout ratio. This year, the 23 rupees that we are putting in this AGM for your approval, the payout ratio is 34.5. The payment of dividend will commence from Thursday, July 22nd onwards, subject to passing of the resolution today. The corporation had provided the remote e-voting facilities to all its members to cast their vote on the following resolutions proposed at the meeting. As I said, there are 10 resolutions: adoption of financial statements and consolidated and dividend. I'm not going through all the resolutions, except again mention that 9 and 10 are special resolutions. To facilitate the members who could not cast their votes through remote e-voting, the corporation has offered the facility of e-voting during this meeting through the e-voting portal of NSDL, which shall commence after the conclusion of the Q&A session. There will be no voting on resolutions by show of hands. I would now like to invite questions from the shareholders who have registered themselves to speak at this meeting. May I request you to be brief and restrict your questions to the matter set out in the notice and the annual accounts and the operations of your company. We have a large number of shareholders who have requested to speak. So may I request not to repeat too many questions which have been asked earlier. I will respond to your queries after all the shareholders have asked the questions, and I will request after that our Vice Chairman and Managing Director, Keki Mistry, to take some of the answers, take some of your questions. I shall now request the moderator to read out the names of the speaker shareholders in the order of their registrations. I think the first speaker is Asha Lata Maheshwari.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. Participants are requested to unmute their microphone and video when their names are announced. And we would request participants to restrict your questions or comments to 3 minutes in the interest of time. Our first speaker shareholder is Ms. Asha Lata Maheshwari.
चेयरमैन साहब, मेरी आवाज आती है? मेरी आवाज आती है चेयरमैन साहब?
आती है।
अच्छा जी। श्रीमान चेयरमैन साहब, मेरे सभी डायरेक्टर भाई, आप सबको मेरा सादर नमस्कार। चेयरमैन साहब, मेरा नाम आशा लता माहेश्वरी। चेयरमैन साहब, मेरा मन था कि आप सबसे मिलना हो जाए, पर मैं निराश हो गई कि इस साल भी आपसे मिलना नहीं हो रहा। चेयरमैन साहब, मैंने बैलेंस शीट देखी, यही कहूंगी पहले, ऐसी बैलेंस शीट बनाई है जैसे वाल्मीकि जी ने पूरी रामायण लिख दी है। बहुत बढ़िया बैलेंस शीट बनाई है। चेयरमैन साहब, मेरे दिल में यही ख्याल आता है कि HDFC कंपनी को इतने अवार्ड मिले हैं, जैसे कंपनी ऑफ द ईयर, गोल्डन पीकॉक अवार्ड, अन्य सभी अवार्ड मिले हैं। चेयरमैन साहब, आप सबको मेरी बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं हैं। पूरी टीम को बहुत बहुत बधाइयां हैं। यहाँ मुझे जरा सा ये कहूंगी, एक दुआ मांगते हैं हम अपने भगवान से और चाहते हैं आपकी खुशी पूरे दिल से, सब हसरतें पूरी हों आपकी और आप सब मुस्कुराते रहें दिलो जान से। चेयरमैन साहब, मैं बोर्ड को बहुत धन्यवाद देती हूँ। इतने मुश्किल समय में भी शेयर होल्डर का 23 रुपया का डिविडेंड दिया है। आपसे हमारा सजेशन है चेयरमैन साहब, 1-2 कि शेयर का भाव आप स्प्लिट क्यों नहीं कर देते? देखिए, 2 रुपए का शेयर 1 रुपया कर दीजिए, लोग जो हैं इसको अफोर्ड कर सकेंगे और बहुत लोग बन जाएंगे हमारे शेयर होल्डर। तो मेरा ये एक सजेशन है, जरा नोट कीजिए स्प्लिट करने का। और चेयरमैन साहब, अक्टूबर 45 का जो साल शुरू हो गया है, मैं आपसे एक रिक्वेस्ट करती हूँ, हो सके चेयरमैन साहब तो एक बोनस अनाउंस कर दीजिए। मैं 2 साल से आपसे बोनस मांग रही हूँ, सो बोनस अनाउंस कर दीजिए। मैं आपको अर्जी तो बोनस की देती हूँ और यही कहूंगी, ना होली पर दीदार हुआ, ना मिलना हुआ ईदों पर। चेयरमैन साहब, अब तो मेरी उम्र निकल रही है बोनस की उम्मीदों पर। जरा सोचिए, आप बोनस के लिए जरूर गौर फरमाइए। और चेयरमैन साहब, मिस्त्री जी, आपकी लीडरशिप और मैनेजमेंट की मैं क्या तारीफ करूं। आपके काम की तो सब जगह तारीफ हो रही है। आपने दीपक पारिक जी का बनाया हुआ कल्चर मेंटेन किया हुआ है। आपके तो कंपनी के रिजल्ट जो आपने दिए हैं, आपकी अच्छाई वो रिजल्ट बताती है। इतनी मेहनत से आपने किया और ऐसे समय में आपने इतने अच्छे रिजल्ट बताते हैं। मैंने एक डायरेक्टर रिपोर्ट में पढ़ा कि आपका प्रॉफिट आफ्टर टैक्स 30% बढ़ा है और डिपॉजिट में भी 20% 30 बढ़ा और डिपॉजिट में भी 13 की बढ़त है। आपकी लोन बुक में भी 10% की ग्रोथ है। इतने मुश्किल समय में भी आपने इतने अच्छे रिजल्ट बताए हैं। ये सब बताती है कि जगह जगह आपकी तारीफ हो रही है। जो कहूंगी चेयरमैन साहब, मंजिल अपनी पाकर जग में धूम मचाई है। कामयाबी जो मिली आपको, आप सबको बहुत बहुत बधाई है। चेयरमैन साहब, मैं ये एक बात और कहना चाहती हूँ, मेरे दिल की बात है। चेयरमैन साहब, जैसा कि दीपक, आपका नाम भी दीपक है, जैसा कि दीपक अंधकार को मिटाता है, वैसे आपने कॉर्पोरेट जग में अपनी मिसाल बनाई है। मैं यहाँ तक कहूंगी चेयरमैन साहब, बेशक उस दिन जमी को सितारों से सजाया जाएगा, बेशक उस दिन जमी को सितारों से सजाया जाएगा जब आपका नाम फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर से पुकारा जाएगा। ये कहूंगी, बस यही मेरी आपको बहुत बहुत इसी बात की दुआएं हैं। और चेयरमैन साहब, लास्ट में मैं कहना चाहती हूँ, मेरा सजेशन है, मैं धन्यवाद देती हूँ श्री अग्रवाल जी के और लक्ष्मी जी को। एकदम बहुत बढ़िया रिजल्ट बताते हैं और प्रॉब्लम को एकदम हल कर देते हैं। इतने सीनियर हैं, ऐसे लोग बहुत कम देखने को मिलते हैं। चेयरमैन साहब, यहाँ मेरा एक सजेशन है कि आप अजय को बहुत सालों से जानती हूँ जैसा कि, तो अजय को आप ग्रुप कंपनी का हेड क्यों नहीं बना देते, जो कि बहुत मैं पक्का यकीन से कह सकती हूँ कि वो इतने होनहार, ईमानदार और तजुर्बेकार हैं कि उनके आने से पूरे ग्रुप का आप उनको हेड बना देंगे तो और कंपनियों को भी उनसे बहुत मदद मिलेगी। ये जरा मेरा फरमाइश है और आप थोड़ा गौर फरमाइए। और लास्ट में चेयरमैन साहब, मैं कहूंगी, मैं यहाँ सभी को अपनी एज के हिसाब से आशीर्वाद देने आती हूँ और आपको भी आशीर्वाद आज देती हूँ। और यही कहूंगे चेयरमैन साहब, अपना आशीर्वाद आपको देते हुए, मेरी उम्र के हिसाब से जो भी आशीर्वाद देती हूँ आप सुन लीजिए। आज भी कहूंगी, मेरे बाद यानी मेरे मरने के बाद भी जब HDFC की मीटिंग आएगी चेयरमैन साहब, आप आसमां पर देखिए, आपको आशीर्वाद देते हुए मेरे SMS लिखे नजर आएंगे और आपको आज भी आशीर्वाद देते हुए मैं धन्यवाद देती हूँ।
Thank you, Asha Lata ji.
Thank you. Our next question is from shareholder number 2, Santosh Kumar Saraf. Please go ahead with your question, sir.
नमस्कार। मेरे सबसे प्यारे अध्यक्ष जी और मेरे डायरेक्टर, मैं संतोष कुमार सराफ कोलकाता से बोल रहा हूं सर। आप सभी को मेरा नमस्कार। दीपक सर, ये आपसे लास्ट मीटिंग हो रही है मैं लगता है, क्योंकि वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस मीटिंग अगर अगले साल होगी तो दोबारा आपसे मुलाकात होगी। ये अभी कोई पता नहीं कि कितने दिसंबर बाद दोबारा मीटिंग होगी नहीं। इसलिए मैं आपकी लंबी उम्र की कामना करता हूँ और भगवान से प्रार्थना करता हूँ आपको भगवान लंबी उम्र दे, और इसी तरह हमारी चारों कंपनियां जिनमें जो लिस्टेड हम हैं उसका ग्रोथ होता रहे सर। और मैंने अपना एक लेटर लिख के मैंने चेयरमैन सेक्रेटरी को भेज दिया था सर, मिल गया होगा है। मैं अजय अग्रवाल जी और लक्ष्मी सेठी की भी करता हूँ, तो उन्होंने बहुत अच्छा ह्यूमैनिटी सेलर सर्विस दिया, इसके लिए मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ सर। एक सर मैं आप लोग को धन्यवाद देता हूँ कि आपने 3 बहुत बड़े अवार्ड और रिकॉग्निशन मिले, बेस्ट कंपनी ऑफ द ईयर, गोल्डन पीकॉक एक्सलेंस इन द गवर्नेंस, बेस्ट ऑडिट कमिटी 2019, अलग अलग जगह से मिले थे, इसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ सर। एक सर मैं आपको धन्यवाद देता हूँ कि जो अपनी न्यू डिपॉजिट है इसको मोर एट्रैक्टिव बनाया जाए सर, जिसमें जो है ना कुछ फिक्स और स्पेशल इस तरह की लगाया जाए कि आजकल के जो उम्र वाले और नया यंग पीपुल एट्रैक्टिव हो सके सर। एक सर मैं चाहूंगा कि और टाइप की स्कीम निकाली जाए जो 81, 91 और 101 मंथ की टेन्योर की हो, क्योंकि अभी जो अब है 36 और 36 मंथ, 33 और 36 मंथ की है, इसको मैं चाहूंगा ये बताइए सर। एक सर न्यू एम्प्लॉय अपने कितने साल ऐड किए उसके बारे में बताने का कष्ट करिएगा सर। और एक सर वर्क फ्रॉम होम जो है उनको क्या पोजीशन है, क्योंकि अपने मार्केटिंग वाले वर्क फ्रॉम होम कर सकते हैं, तो उनके लिए क्या टेक्निकल सपोर्ट आपने प्रोवाइड किया है जिससे वो कोलैबोरेशन होकर वाइल अपने एक साथ में काम कर सकते हैं सर। जोनल वाइज अपना फिगर क्या है ये बताइएगा सर, जनरल और एज वाइज सर। और सर इसके अलावा मैं चाहूंगा कि आपने कितने परसेंटेज अपने एम्प्लॉय का वैक्सीन हो गया है और उनके जो खर्चे लगे उसको प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल जो करवाए उनके पैसे आपने मेकअप किए हैं क्या सर। और लास्ट में मैं सर भगवान से प्रार्थना करूंगा कि भगवान आपको बहुत लंबी उम्र दे सर। और एक रिक्वेस्ट है कि सर ये वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस मीटिंग तो 31 दिसंबर तक अलाउ किए सर। मैं तो कलकत्ता में रहता हूँ, एज भी हो गई है, तो मैं चाहूंगा हम 4 कंपनी के शेयर होल्डर, आपकी चारों लिस्टेड कंपनी में शेयर होल्डर इतना अपना अच्छा रिटर्न दिया हमें कि उसकी मैं कोई कल्पना नहीं कर सकता। तो चाहूंगा एक 15 मिनट के लिए वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस मीटिंग एचडीएफसी की तरफ की जाए जिसमें हम अपनी बात रख सके, अपने दिलवालगी कर सकते। और ज्यादा समय नहीं लूंगा सर। हमारे कंपनी सेक्रेटरी लक्ष्मी सेठी काफी अच्छी है और काफी लोगों ने काम किया, उनके लिए मैं लंबी उम्र की कामना करता हूँ। और सर एक लास्ट में हम आपको, मैं सबसे प्रिय चेयरमैन आपको इंडिया में समझता हूँ सर। आप इतने अच्छे प्रिय चेयरमैन हम लोग शेयर होल्डर के हैं, क्या बताऊं सर। इतना अच्छा ग्रोथ, इतना अच्छा रिजल्ट दिया है कि सब शेयर होल्डर सेटिस्फाई हैं। तो मैं आपकी लंबी उम्र की कामना करते हुए अपना वक्तव्य समाप्त हूँ। जय हिंद, जय भारत, नमस्कार सर। एक बार फिर से आप ही को
थैंक यू संतोष जी।
Thank you. Our next speaker shareholder is Ms. Lekha Shah. Please go ahead with your question.
Hello, can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes,
Hello.
Ms. Shah, please go ahead. We can hear you, ma'am. Please go
Thank you,
ahead.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Respected Chairman, sir, Board of Directors, and my fellow members, good morning to all of you. Myself, Lekha Shah from Mumbai. First of all, I'm very much thankful to our company secretariat team, especially Mrs. Shetty Madam, for sending very good investor services and also sending me the AGM notice by email well in time in such a difficult situation. So I am very thankful to our Mrs. Lashmi Shetty ji ma'am. Thank you, Chairman sir, for explaining us well about the company. Sir, I am happy to see all the good deeds that you have done during this tough time. Sir, I pray to God He always shower His blessing upon you. Sir, I would like to ask few questions. My first question is, what are the benefits achieved after merging its subsidiaries in HDFC? My second question is, what are the amount and name of the PSU for which NPA provisions has been made? My third question is, whether there is decrease in loan disbursement during pandemic and what are the top in this industries for which bank has finished during pandemic? My fourth question is, our bank employees, brother and sister, in which way we are supporting our bank employees as they too are our COVID warriors. So, I strongly propose all the resolutions for today's meeting and my best wishes always our company and its prosperity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from speaker shareholder number 4, Kaushik Sahukar. Please go ahead with your question.
Good morning, sir. At the outset, let me introduce myself as Kaushik Sahukar from Mumbai. Professionally, I am a chartered accountant. Medically, I suffer from dystonia. In simple terms, 55% of my body is paralyzed, and this impacted my right hand, right leg, and speech. Sir, I admire the work done by HDFC in the area of CS activity. You have brought smile in millions of faces by your sales activities. People connect with you for your kind support. Sir, if you can shower your blessings on me, it can change my life in a better way. Before I end my speech, I would like to present a quote. I am sure Mr. Deepak Parekh will relate it. Give man a fish and you can feed him for a day. But teach man a technique to fish, he can be fed for life. I believe in second part of the quote. I would like to thank Board of Directors for giving me opportunity to speak and also patiently hearing me. Special thanks to Mr. Ajay Agarwal and entire Secretarial Department for making this event possible. Thanks to all. I am also hopeful that company will empathize with me and will religiously consider me. Can I expect a positive response from the company? Thank you all, sir.
Thank you.
Thank
Our
you.
next speaker, we'll take our next question from speaker shareholder number 5, Ms. H.S. Patel. Please go ahead with your question. Ms. Patel, could you please unmute your microphone and go ahead with your question?
Hello.
You may
Hello.
proceed, Ms. Patel. We can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you. Respected Chairman, our Mr. Deepak Parekh, respected Mr. K.K. Mistry, the Vice Chairman and the CEO of the company, Madam Renu Karnar, the Managing Director, the eminent directors on the board, my dear shareholders and friends. First, I would like to thank our Mr. Narsimunji and Dr. J.K. Irani for contributing the most towards HDFC. I wish them a very happy life. Thank you very much, and please keep on giving your services and your advice to our company. I appreciate Mr. Ajay Agarwal. Thank you very much, Mr. Agarwal. You have done a very good job, very good in your reports, which is
I'm sorry to interrupt, Ms. Patel. We're not able to hear you that clearly, ma'am. If you can hold the microphone a little closer to you and speak.
certainly.
Speak a little louder, please. Ms. Patel, speak a little louder, please.
Yeah, sure. Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible now?
Better. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, I'll start. I would like to congratulate, thank Mr. Ajay Agarwal, the company secretary, for giving a very good, exhaustive, and explicit annual report. I thank his management.
I'm sorry, Ms. Patel. I'm sorry, we are unable to hear you clearly. Maybe our technical team will check your connection and help you to return to the queue, if that's fine.
Okay.
We can't
Now
hear you.
I'm coming at the window. Now you're able to hear me? Now
A
you're
little
able to hear
better.
me?
Yes,
Much
ma'am.
better.
Don't cut my time in this. Acha. I thank Mr. Ajay Agarwal, as I said before, and his whole team. He has done a very good job very good, exhaustive annual report we have received. I also thank Mr. Rangan for giving very minute financial details about the company. I thank Aman also. Even at night till late 10 o'clock also, they were very helpful, Lakshmi and Aman. Thank you very much. I congratulate the company, all the employees, even in this crucial COVID time. They have worked hard and given us a very good result. I congratulate the company for the various awards and applause. The best company of the year, the Golden Peacock Award, definitely under Mr. Deepak Parekh sir and the eminent directors on the board. The company is reaching at its good heights. Wish you all the best. Now we come up to the questions. So your CSR activities has been very good. Company's CSR activities. The company has spent almost 189.82 crores, more than the stipulated amount. So, however, there is 251 crores of 2015-16. If you can explain a little of this, is it pending or what it is about? So, in your notice in the resolution number 8, you mentioned a 6 lakh crores to be borrowed from institutional financial institutions, India as well as abroad. So, what is our total debt? Full total debt. And today our loan book is almost 11.5 lakh crores. So what will be its impact in our national economy also? Then I would like to ask, so our foreign earnings, it is 2 crores earnings and expenditure is 782 crores. What is the justification for having more our expenditure and less of the foreign earnings? So can we increase our holdings in HDFC Bank up to 30%? Please do not reduce the stake of our company below the statutory limits in your listed subsidiaries. With the demand for hybrid office spaces increasing and growth from remaining constant, how will it impact our company directly or indirectly? So with the second wave going on and the third wave expected of COVID on the way, will there be any additional increase in the NPAs of our company? What is the total debt, as I mentioned before, in the accounts of our company? Here I would also like to mention once again that our Mr. Ajay Agarwal has been our company secretary for quite a long time. I think he should. It would be much befitted if his services are valued and we consider him for further promotion, change in designation also. It would be much better.
Sorry to interrupt.
So on the 1 minute, please hold on. So on the board, we request you that as Mr. Irani and Nasir Monchi vacancies will be created, why not we have our Noel Tata on the board or Mr. Subedar of Tata Sons on the board? It is very essential. I would like to know why chemistry is given second term only for 3 months instead of 5 or 6 months. It is very surprising when our Madam Renu Karnad, who is a very competent lady, when she can continue, I think chemistry should also continue, a very capable man. And we should consider Mr. Noel Tata and Subedar for the vacant posts of Mr. Nasser Monchi and Dr. Irani. Under your able guidance, your able captaincy, Mr. Deepak Parekh, certainly HDFC is progressing. Today the share price stands at 2467.60 and you are giving us a dividend of 23. I wish you all the very best to you and good health and good happy life. And please further progress of the company, and I wish all the best to all the employees and management team of our company. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. All the best.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to remind you to please restrict your questions to 3 minutes per participant in the interest of time. We'll take our next question from speaker shareholder number 6, Manoj Kumar Gupta. Please go ahead with your question.
Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Mr. Gupta, we can hear you. Please proceed with your question.
Yeah. Good morning, respected Chairman, Board of Directors, fellow shareholders. My name is Manoj Gupta. I am from Calcutta. Sir, first of all, I thanks to our chairman and his team for excellent result during this epidemic COVID time. And we have like previous speakers, he is our best chairman in the country. We have a great respect for him, and we honor him and we respect him. And I am very thankful to our MD, Mrs. Renu Sood Kannad, that she also worked hard to show this result to employees and investors. I thanks to all to her and his team to give a nice result during this epidemic time. And I thanks to all our pupils, those have worked hard during this time to return to the shareholders, employees. And I thanks to our company secretary, Mr. Agarwal, and his team to help us to join this meeting through VC. And sir, thanks for your dividend during this epidemic COVID time. You are paying a good dividend, 1150% dividend. Sir, what's the impact of COVID on our company? And sir, I will not say a single word on CSR. You are doing a lot of work for the society and community without caste, creed, color to help the pupils in every aspect, health, education, and every aspect. So I will not say a single word on that. And return to investor, every investor has got return on their investment under your leadership, under your umbrella. Sir, have you any plan for split the share from rupees 2 to 1? If you will split, then you will see with the result of like HDFC Bank. So the liquidity will increase, number of shareholders will increase, and share market price will increase, and the market cap will increase. Three things will be increased. So in the next board meeting, in the first quarter board meeting or second quarter board meeting, can you consider to split the shares? And I will not say that you consider the bonus share. You can issue the bonus debenture. If you will issue the bonus debenture, the equity burden will not increase on the company. You can issue the bonus debenture. Now that the new trend has started in the country, that bonus debenture, you can issue the bonus debenture in the ratio of 1:1 of rupees 15 rupees per debenture, or a coupon rate, and after reading 3 years, 4 years, that you can consider. And sir, I will suggest one thing: don't take any hard step against the small defaulters in this COVID period. Don't take, because our government has given the moratorium, and Supreme Court has already accepted the moratorium to the borrowers. So I request you and our MD that don't take any hard action against the defaulters of those who have purchased small houses for their shelter. जिनको सर पे छत के लिए घर खरीदे आपसे पैसा लेके, उनके खिलाफ आप कोई सख्त कार्रवाई मत कीजिए अगर वो कोई डिफॉल्टर है 3-4 किस्तों के ड्यूरिंग दिस एपिडेमिक कोविड. And I thanks to you, your team, our MD, and all employees to get the awards during this period, 3 awards. And sir, deposit should be attractive and increase some rate for age-wise, like as PSU banks has increased and private banks has increased. So you should also think about, and any plan to list another subsidiary in the stock market, because your every subsidiary has given a good return. Just a minute, ma'am, I will take 1 minute. So any plan to list any another subsidiary in the stock market to return the investors. Sir, last but least, I pray Almighty for your healthy and prosperous, safe, long life. And I invite you to come to Calcutta, you and our MD, because both have stopped to come to Calcutta. So we are waiting for you to in Calcutta, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. We will take our next question from speaker shareholder number 7, Mrs. Celestine Elizabeth Mascarenas, and Mr. Aloysius Peter Mascarenas, speaker shareholder number 8. They both are joining together. Please go ahead.
Can you, hello? Hello?
Yes, Mrs. Mascarenas, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yes, I just one big line. Finding calm in the chaos. Respected Chair, Honorable Shri Deepak Mr. K.K. Mistry, Madam Renu Karnad, other very, very honorable directors attending this meeting, fellow shareholders. I am Mrs. C.E. Mascarenas. I am from my home in Mumbai. I have a company secretary, Mr. Ajay Arwal, and his team, especially Lakshmi and more, sending me an AGM report, allowing me to speak. And also I have to thank the team also, checking and all, because we are still not very grounded of all those online thing. The annual report is very informative, explanatory, adhering to all the norms of corporate governance. Good. PBT PAT little down, but the dividend is good of 23 as against last year's 21. Per value share per par value is of 2. Now our company has a good rating for deposits. Our company has emerged as the leading financial conglomerate with a strong presence in housing, banking, life and general insurance, asset management, venture capital and education finance sector. Parekh, you have created a great amount of wealth to all the stakeholders and the shareholders, especially the small shareholders. Now I congratulate for all the awards received during this pandemic period. Also, I appreciate you and your team for all the work done, especially in the days of pandemic. I don't want to elaborate because the time is short. Now my queries and suggestions. The housing loan interest rate down and reduction of the stamp duty, housing loans increase. I want any percentage. Two, for further inorganic of our HDFC Limited conglomerate, any further acquisitions or any mergers? Have we any land pockets? How much of loan is booked is under the CLSS? Number 5, I have a good amount, I and my family have a good amount of deposits with the HDFC Limited and also our relatives too. So what about having some DICGC cover in what is in the banks on the of all these small depositors? So what happened? It's DHFL, which was another housing company, the second number advancing at the time, but with frauds, the small investors, no fault of theirs, they have lost their deposits and equity shareholder there. I have lost my money completely with no fault of us, even to look at the balance sheet. Though it went to IBC, IBC only took care of the banks. Though the banks were supposed to be taking care when they take the loans. And it is for shareholders very difficult, because they are all small shareholders. Even like me, like knowing so much, I also became a bait in it. So I really feel, sir, like visionary like you must do some steps to solve this problem, because this is becoming, the IBC Act has come. We don't know what will happen to the small. Sir, you are a visionary and protector of the small investors. There should be something like insurance cover for these deposits, small equities holders, where the company on stock exchanges, the insurance could be, premium could be paid with SEBI or something like that can be worked out, sir. I have got great faith in you. Try to do something about it, because we don't want more and more shares become limbos. Even the Lakshmi Vilas Bank, just no valuation. There are so many like that. So please, sir, I wish that you, and along with like-minded people, could see how the equity cult remains and the deposit cult also remains. Lastly, but not the least, we have a ergo. When will it to unlock the shareholder value? When will it get listed? because our market is very much heated, and even RBI has asked our company in our holding in Ergo should be brought down to 50 by May 21. Could you throw some light on it?
Mrs.
Whether
Mascarenhas,
it's brought down?
Mrs. Mascarenhas,
Yeah.
sorry to
I
interrupt.
support all the regulation. Thank you for giving me this patient hearing. Now, my Mr. Mascarenhas, he will share some questions which will be much.
Thank you, Mrs. Mascarenhas.
Respected Chairman, sir, very distinguished members and my fellow shareholders. My name is Aloysius. I will be very brief. At the outset, I thank the management, our company secretary and his team, the in-house registrars for it which I received on time. It is exhaustive, informative, transparent, and above all, adhering to all the parameters required for a good corporate. Our results are very good considering the pandemic which we are facing, which has destroyed our economy and the world economy. In spite of that, you have declared a handsome dividend of rupees 23 versus 21 of last year. A financial 10-year highlight speaks for itself on year-to-year basis. You have our PBT, dividend payout, EPS, book value, all the financial parameters have gone up. Our dividend payout also 1150%, record breaking. I have very little to say. We are doing very well under the leadership of Deepak Parekh. He has got a Midas touch. Whatever it touches, wherever turns into gold. This is in short the caliber of our chairman. I thank him and I wish him good health and life. So also his team, Mr. Agarwal and his team. Now, sir, I have very few questions. We are doing very well in ECG initiatives, panels, electronic waste, recycling, paper waste, clean sanitation, green housing, and all that. And we have got very good support from government. Demand for warehousing is also increased. So also our real estate. So, sir, keep it up. Now, one question which hurts me is that we have unclaimed dividend and now unclaimed shares. Do not take the dividend within 7 years or the shares, it goes to the investor protection fund. See that this doesn't go to the government because if it goes to the government treasury, it is very, very difficult to get it back. So, see, the money goes to the shareholders in the proper form. And especially now my question about Diwan housing, we have suffered a lot. You could have taken over Diwan housing and Lakshmi Villas with small we have lost. Sir, since many questions have been asked by my wife, shareholders, and there will be many more questions which will be by the. I would like to cut my speech short. Wishing you personally, Mr. Deepak Parekh, and all the board members, and more importantly, all the employees, all the very best in the days and years to come. With this, sir, thank you very much for patient hearing. Good luck, safe stay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mascarenhas.
Our next question is from Speaker Shareholder number 9, Yusuf Yunus Rangwala. Please go ahead with your
Good
question.
morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Can you hear my voice? Good morning, sir. Can I start my sir? Hello? Hello?
We can hear you, sir. You may proceed.
Morning, sir. Yeah, good morning, sir. Deepak, sir. I am very happy to see you, sir, personally, sir. Sir, I am very happy to see you personally, sir. आपका तो सर ऐसा चेहरा है जो कंपनी में आप सर रहते हैं वो कंपनी का भाव कहाँ से कहाँ पहुंच जाएगा. आज अपना भाव आ रहा अराउंड बोर्ड मार्केट में अपना थम्स अप है सर. दिस इज a 44-year and we are a finance business, sir. We are a leader in this business, sir. Nobody can beat us. आप हो तो सर कुछ बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है सर. आपने और अपने अजय सर जो अपने कंपनी के सेक्रेटरी जो उनकी अच्छी गाइडेंस है और अच्छी उनकी सर्विस है, उससे सर मैं बहुत खुश हूँ। और सर मैं और एक सर थैंक यू कहना चाहता हूँ अपना कोरस पीपल जो अपने एजेंट है, उनकी सर्विस तो सर लाजवाब है सर। उनकी सर्विस यहाँ पे कोरस होती है सर, हमको कोई दिक्कत नहीं आती, बस हमारा नंबर आता है, हमको ज्वाइन करना पड़ता है। और सर मैं आपको सर आप मेरा वीडियो भी देख सकते हैं। और सर मैं पूरा बोर्ड को देखता हूँ सर, मैं बहुत खुश होता हूँ। मेरा दिल सर भगवान हो गया आप लोग को देख के सर, इतनी बड़ी बड़ी कंपनी को, इतने बड़े बड़े डायरेक्टर लोग को देख के सर। और तो सर मुझे जानना चाहिए 19 में अपने सब पीपल लोग, सब स्टाफ ने एक वैक्सीन ले लिया है। और सर अपने और अब वी आर सी एक्टिविटी अपन हेल्प कर रहे हैं पुअर को सर, अपन बोर्ड अपनी तरफ से अच्छी एक्टिविटीज है एंड वी आर द लीडर इन दिस सीआर एक्टिविटीज सर। एंड फ्रॉम दिस सीरियस एक्टिविटीज और उन ब्लेसिंग सर our company growing up and the time will come next year is the 45th year, so can we accept a bonus sir from your 1:1 sir? The time has come, many years have passed sir from Deepak sir, you have given the dividend 50 rupees, that is very excellent and I am very happy with this excellent dividend sir. और आपका परफॉर्मेंस है सर, उसके बारे में कुछ मुझे नहीं टच करना सर, आपका परफॉर्मेंस इतना अच्छा है सर, क्या बोलना सर। आपने चेयरमैन स्पीच भी इतना अच्छा बताया, हम बहुत खुश हुआ सर, वेरी हैप्पी विद अवर चेयरमैन स्पीच एंड नथिंग मोर टू इट। माय गुड विशेस सर। मुझे एक सर लास्ट ईयर अपन 2 साल पहले अपन गेट टुगेदर मिले थे, अभी सर नेक्स्ट ईयर आए, आप ऐसा हो सके तो आप गेट टुगेदर रखिए सर, हमें बुलाइए सर, आपसे हम मिलना चाहता था दीपक सर। आज तक सर आपसे मेरी मुलाकात हुई सर, बहुत साल पहले मैं आपसे मिला था। आप सर अपनी तबियत संभालिए दीपक सर, प्लीज टेक केयर ऑफ योरसेल्फ and all the staff. My humble request and my good wishes for all the staff, please take care of yourself. You are very sir, life insurance LIC हाउसिंग उनका सर और अपना क्या कंपटीशन है सर LIC हाउसिंग, मुझे जानना चाह रहा हूँ। और सर अपने मेन सर मैडम मस्करनस का मैं ज्वाइन करता हूँ, दीवान हाउसिंग सर अपन ले दीवान हाउसिंग भी अच्छी कंपनी सर, लेकिन एट प्रेजेंट दे आर डाउन। अगर आप ले लोगे दीवान हाउसिंग यू कैन थिंक टू परचेस सर एंड नथिंग मोर टू इट। आने वाले गणेश चतुर्थी जो अभी सितंबर में, और उसके बाद दशहरा, उसके बाद दिवाली और सब त्योहारों का सर मैं आपको शुभकामनाएं देना चाहता हूँ। और बस मैं एक छोटा सा शायरी पेश करना चाहता हूँ। आपको दीपक सर देख के मेरे दिल में बहुत खुशी हुई, इतनी खुशी हुई सर जो मैं व्यक्त नहीं कर सकता, मेरे पास सर शब्द नहीं है सर। बस आपसे सर मैं इतना खुश हो गया सर, इतना दिन है और आपसे आपका फेस्ट है, ये मुझे सर आप मिलना चाहता हूँ आपसे सर। थैंक यू, गॉड ब्लेस फ्लावर्स, खुदा हाफिज सर।
Thank you, Yusuf Bhai.
Thank you. Our next speaker shareholder is shareholder number 10, Mr. Gautam Tiwari. Please go ahead with your question.
Can you listen me and can you see me, sir?
We can hear you and see you,
Yes,
sir. Please proceed.
hear you.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Sir, very special good morning to our Deepak sir, and of course to all my directors also. Very lovely directors, KK Mistry, Renu Karnat, and all other team of directors, HDFC team, and my fellow shareholders. Sir, my name is Gautam Tiwari, and I am participating at this meeting from Mumbai. सर इनफैक्ट ये वास्तव में काफी निराशाजनक रहा कि हम इस वर्ष कोविड-19 की महामारी के कारण लगातार 2 वर्षों तक व्यक्तिगत रूप से आपसे नहीं मिल पा रहे हैं। मुझे इस एजीएम में बोलने का अवसर प्रदान करने के लिए टीम एचडीएफसी का मैं बहुत बहुत आभारी हूँ। टीम एचडीएफसी बहुत ही मददगार रही और बहुत ही हमें उनसे सहयोग मिला। डियर चेयरमैन सर, सफलता के एक और शानदार वर्ष के लिए आपको और टीम एचडीएफसी को बहुत बहुत बधाइयां। सर मैं आपसे मिलना चाहता था पर कोविड के चलते ही सब बहुत कुछ बदल गया है। सर कंपनी ऑफ द ईयर अवार्ड और कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस की उत्कृष्टता के लिए मिलने वाला गोल्डन पीकॉक अवार्ड और अन्य सभी सारे अवार्ड्स के लिए चेयरमैन सर आपको, टीम एचडीएफसी को और अजय अग्रवाल जी को बहुत बहुत बधाइयां और धन्यवाद। सर अजय जी के बारे में एक खास कहना है, लक्ष्मी शेट्टी जी भी बहुत ही मेहनतकश हैं और अजय जी तो इतने होनहार, मेहनतकश और सिंसियर और लगन से काम करने वाले हैं सर। तो इनके लिए एक अच्छा सा सजेशन था बहुत कि आजकल सारी ग्रुप कंपनी में ग्रुप सेक्रेटरी की जो जिनके पास में बहुत सारे कंपनीज होती हैं, तो ये ग्रुप कंपनी सेक्रेटरी के पोजीशन तक उनका प्रमोशन करें, क्योंकि कंपनी को बहुत बहुत फायदे में रहेंगे हम। उनका लियासन भी बहुत अच्छा है, एक्सपर्टाइज भी बहुत अच्छा है। सो वी विल बी वेरी हैप्पी ऑल ऑफ अस। सर, एनुअल रिपोर्ट समय पर मिला और आपका एनुअल रिपोर्ट से सबसे सुसंगत है, सूचनात्मक, स्पष्ट और स्वच्छ रिपोर्ट में से एक है। इसके लिए सेक्रेटरियल टीम, फाइनेंस टीम और लक्ष्मी शेट्टी जी को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। सर, आपने बिल्कुल डायमंड चुने हुए हैं सेक्रेटरियल टीम में और फाइनेंस टीम में। अजय जी, लक्ष्मी जी और सारे के सारे जितने हैं, तो एक से एक बढ़कर इतनी हेल्पफुल है कि सारी कंपनियों को हम भूल जाते हैं और एचडीएफसी को हमेशा they are very keen that all those who are connected really come join and speak with us. Chairman sir, आप बोनस कब दे रहे हैं आप? और बोनस नहीं तो कम से कम शेयर स्प्लिट तो कर ही दीजिए, तो कम से कम शेयर होल्डर बहुत होंगे और हमारा मार्केट शेयर भी बढ़ेगा। सर, चेयरमैन सर दीपक जी, 23 डिविडेंड आपने दिया है, जो बोर्ड की सिफारिश के लिए आपने दिया हुआ है, उसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। पिछले साल से 2 रुपए अधिक दिया है, ये तो बहुत ही अच्छी बात है। सर, आपसे एक बहुत ही अच्छा अनुरोध है सबके हित में कि ये एचडीएफसी अर्गो और एचडीएफसी क्रेडिला जो है उसको भी आप जल्दी से लिस्ट कर दीजिए और हम लोगों को भी उसकी प्रेफरेंशियल अलॉटमेंट दीजिए। सर, एचडीएफसी का प्रॉफिट बहुत।
Mr. Tiwari, sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
We would request you to please complete your question soon, sir, so that other participants may get their turn.
Yes, I am coming. Everybody is, because this is the platform only when we get to speak. Please. एचडीएफसी का प्रॉफिट बहुत अच्छा है, डिस्बर्समेंट और सेक्शंस भी बहुत अच्छा है, इसके लिए ग्रोथ भी बहुत अच्छी है, इसके लिए हम आपके बहुत बहुत आभारी हैं ना। सर, कमिंग टू द बिजनेस क्वेश्चंस, सर, वी वुड लाइक टू नो सर, हाउ इज द रियल एस्टेट मार्केट इन इंडिया? आपको लगता है कि पोस्ट कोविड क्या अपने प्रॉपर्टी की कीमतें बढ़ेंगी? सर, कई बड़ी कंपनी के पास, जैसा कि हमने कहा, ग्रुप कंपनी सेक्रेटरी की अवधारणा है, तो ऐसी कोई योजना हमारे एचडीएफसी में है क्या सर? सर, हमारा लास्ट बोनस कब था और शेयर स्प्लिट हुआ था कॉर्पोरेशन के लिए? सर, what are the measures HDFC is taking for the safety of employees who are working from office now? और कितने एम्प्लॉयज वैक्सीनेटेड हुए हैं? तो ये हमने सुसंगति के लिए निश्चित करने के लिए कौन सी योजना बनाई है सर? और सर, कॉस्ट कटिंग मेजर्स हम लोगों ने कोई लिया था क्या? इसके बाद में भी कोई भविष्य में हम कॉस्ट कटिंग मेजर्स लेने वाले हैं क्या सर? एक बहुत अच्छी सी बात है कि ये RBI being the new regulator of the corporation, does the corporation now reports everything to NHB and RBI now? Sir, in view of the retirement of Dr. Jamshed Irani और मिस्टर नासिर मुंजी, जिनकी सेवाएं बहुत लाजवाब रही इतने साल तक, तो उनको सर रीअपॉइंटमेंट के लिए क्यों कंसीडर किया गया? ये जरा सा कंसर्न लगता है। और सर, बाकी तो सब इतना अच्छा है कि सर दीपक सर, आप बिल्कुल मैग्नेट है, आपका नाम भी सब कुछ बता देता है। यू आर एन इंस्टीट्यूशन इन यूएसए। आप, जैसे हमने बताया, आप ध्रुव का तारा हैं और हमेशा चमकते रहेंगे और सबको प्रणालित कर रहेंगे। वी विश यू वेरी लॉन्ग, हैप्पी, प्रॉस्परस, हेल्दी, सेफ लाइफ to you all board of directors, all those who are connected with HDFC, and wish you a very bright and shining future on individual and on collective basis to the company also. Thank you very much sir for patient listening. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Jai Maharashtra. Thank you sir.
Thank you, Mr. Tiwari.
Thank you. Our next speaker, shareholder number 11, Mr. Ronald Fernandez, has connected via an audio call. Please proceed with your question, sir.
Yeah. Very good morning. Good afternoon, sir. Hello. You can hear me? Hello.
We can hear you, sir. Please go ahead.
We can hear you.
Yeah. Very good afternoon, sir. This is Ronald Fernandez over here. And first and foremost, I wish to thank the company secretary, the secretary team, the share transfer agent, and the management staff of HDFC for sending the AGM notice on time. Of course, no doubt, it is very much audible and very lengthy and all that, and comprising of 388 pages and 60 pages of the annual report, sir. The AGM notice, sorry. and for total coming to 404, out of which 404 is nothing, sir. My take out is 0 and 44. This is the 44th AGM looking at it, sir. And alphabet of HDFC is 44, and you have to split the shares of 10 rupees, which is 2 IAC. Because if you look at it, then you can divide it into one share, 1 rupee, 2 rupees, and 5 rupees. So there is no 3 and there is no 4 in it. So automatically it will come to 1, 2, and 5. So at least you'll have a much more number of shares, and then your share price also will increase if you split it up. But if you keep it on the same aspect, but before that you declare a bonus, then you give it this thing. So that will increase our value also, the shareholder. Because looking at it, so around the so long time, we have not have any of the meetings and all that. So we're looking forward for it, that you have in the near future. When you have, please don't have it. I have done VCM only, because when we see individual, we keep on speaking and all that and on everything. So the problem is now you have to just control on that limit. That is very important. And if I'm going too long on it, so just make me a mute and disconnect the line. That would be better then, because people don't listen sometimes. That is the thing. The attitude is not gone. It is the latitude of the sun and the longitude of the way that makes the hemoglobin go round. That is all the time is specified here. And of course, no doubt, sir, last and foremost, I would like to also highlight to you, when are you coming out with a bonus share? Because it's high time that you declare a bonus share. Nothing for you, sir. It is 45th AGM. So you can give either every one share held four times of it, and or every one share held 5. I remember, leave it up to you, because very soon you'll be completing within 5 years' time 50th Golden Jubilee. So Golden Jubilee is a big achievement. That time I think we should meet all together, rather than having also long we can hold a meetings of VCM. That is very much more applicable, because there are people abroad also who are listening and they want to participate in the meeting. With this, I support all the resolution and thank the management for patient listening, and sorry for the trouble for taking a longer time to speak. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Fernandez.
Our next question is from Speaker Shareholder number 12, Dipankar Purkayasta. Please go ahead with your question.
Okay. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Yeah. Okay. So let me start. So firstly, since your IPO, you have diluted equity, I think around 18 times, if I include convertibles, private placements, QIPs. So this has been partly to fund the growth of loan assets on the balance sheet and partly to fund investments in your associates and subsidiary companies. HDFC has become a financial conglomerate with investments in diverse entities in the financial services space. And you will be going on making more and more investments in newer entities. It becomes difficult for shareholders to understand the consolidated financial statements. In this year's annual report on page 76, a long reconciliation has been given between the profit figures of FY21 and 20 because of all these investments. Market also does not like complex structures, and a holding company discount will start becoming applicable. So my request is, will the company consider simplifying the structure, spinning the housing loan business into a standalone operating company and moving all your present and future ownership of the investee companies to a holding company, a structure similar to what the Bajaj Group has with Bajaj Finserv? So that is my first question. Secondly, is that your loan sales are exclusively to HDFC Bank with a cap of 70%. So is that cap of 70% a regulatory requirement, or is that a bilateral contract between you and HDFC Bank? So would you consider widening the scope of these sales to other entities? Because during the last 10 years, your equity capital has expanded by 26%, and there has been a dilution of equity every year. So can we think of pursuing a more asset-light strategy where we concentrate on loan origination rather than loan maintenance? My third question is that 2 years back, I think you divested your stake in GRUH or GRU. Now, GRU had developed expertise in financing people who belong to the unorganized sector and were economically weaker sections. Now, after this divestment of GRU, the skill sets which were available with GRU have also gone. So my question is, have you been able to develop these skills in-house, and do you continue to get the same levels of business from these segments? And secondly, GRU had very high interest spreads, because which they also had the highest return on equity in the non-banking finance company space. So are you also able to have the same pricing power on these loans which GRU had? My next question is, for the last 2 years, your gross NPLs have been hovering around 2%, whereas earlier it used to be around 1%. So do you foresee any possibility of returning to 1%, or is 2% going to be the new normal? Next question is, you do not appear to have used mortgage guarantees, which are available in India to mitigate credit risk. Many of your competitors have done so. So are there any reasons for this reluctance on the part of HDFC to avail of this form of credit enhancement? And my final question is that Eastern India accounts for only 4% of your individual loan portfolio. Any reasons, or what are the specific reasons why you have such a poor share of Eastern India in your portfolio, and any thoughts on increasing the share of this area? That's all. Thank you for the time and good day.
Thank you. Our next question is from Speaker Shareholder number 13, Shobna Mehta. Please go ahead with your question. Ms. Mehta, could you please unmute your microphone and your webcam and go ahead with your question? I'm sorry, Ms. Mehta, we are unable to hear you. Could you please unmute your microphone? Ms. Shobna Mehta, since we are unable to hear you, our technical team will connect with you separately and check your connection. In the meanwhile, we will proceed with our next question. That's from Speaker Shareholder number 14, Adil Pollard Irani. Please go ahead with your question, sir.
Have you unmuted me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can hear you, Adil.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sorry. Yeah. Because it's a video conference, at least somebody should move the head, or the moderator should say. Anyway, she has been very nice in mentioning a speaker number 1, speaker number 2. So I know I was speaker number 14, so I was ready when speaker number 10 was announced. Anyway, I don't question what takes place before 31st March. That is history. I say thank you to the company. This is one of greatest companies you have created. Shareholder wealth, the maximum shareholder wealth, one of the 10 companies in the past 25 years. That is what is mentioned in your annual report. And thank you. And another thing, Mr. JJ Irani and Mr. Narsimunji. Pardon? Hello? Yeah, JJ Irani and Narsimunji. I'm sad that they are leaving. Anyway, Mr. Narsimunji, the handsome young man, basically, sir, is it possible for you to add him again after 6 months, after his term gets over? Because he's very young, basically. I don't know. The SEBI keeps making rules and changes them. And that reminds me of United Kingdom Sinha, who's also on our board. That is UK Sinha. United Kingdom, I call him United Kingdom Sinha. I met him at the Vedanta company meeting. So, and that reminds me, sir, that now the taxes, I know you are the only person who will do it. Now the taxes being debited source, senior people like me, like 75, 80-year-old people, they expect us to go and give during this pandemic times Form 15F and 15H to the company so that my tax is not debited source, basically. And then if it's debited source, then I have to run from pillar to post. I have to pay a chartered accountant to file my return so I get that money back after 1 or 2 years. So the data of my shareholding is collected by the different companies from the person who has my Demat account. The person who has my Demat account has my name, has my address, has my PAN card, has my Aadhaar card, and everything. All the details are there with him. So if I give one form, or if I give him undertaking, yes, I am a poor farmer. My income is not more than say 2 lakh rupees a year from dividend. Maybe in a few companies, the dividend is 20 and 30,000 rupees. So that time they debit tax at source. But then total income is not the thing to be if you club it. So Mr. UK Sinha, United Kingdom Sinha, Mr. Deepak Parekh, Mr. Keki Mistry, can you all tell SEBI or whatever it is, whoever is responsible, okay, why can't we give this information to one source? Like you, all the industrialists say we want one window clearing. We don't want to go to 10 different departments of the government. So similarly, I as a shareholder, I won't want to write to 100 and 200 companies that my Form 15 have made a bhara. And in that case, Another thing, HDFC Bank is a very good bank. They send us a detail and they say yes, you just say yes or no, and form 15F, it's a pre-filled form 15F. I hope I will not take more than 2 months. And so data is going to be king now. So all the data basically you should take from one source, one window clearing. Regarding tax set source, information taken from the listing. Right. So and all the good things mentioned by the previous shareholder, I will not repeat it. I mean everything. I mean I am investor because of Mr. Deepak Parekh. So and what I was like to this, first you give us rights issue. So make use of this market and give us rights issue at a premium. A loss-making company, an IPO, can collect more than 3 lakh crore rupees. I will not name the company. The IPO just got over last week. That if a loss-making company, people are sort of crazy to invest in a loss-making company. So why can't we, my profit-making company, the share price is now 2,400. You give me a rights issue at 1,000 rupees, and that means in 2 rupee share you are getting 998 rupees. And then once you get after the rights issue, then next time what you do is you split the share. From 2 rupees you make it 1 rupee like HDFC Bank. And then later on you may think of giving us a bonus share.
Mr. Rani, may we request you to please return to the queue? There are several participants waiting for their turn, sir.
Okay, I was there, no? I mean, you heard me, no? Hello?
We could hear you, Mr. Rani.
Okay, so I finished. No, thank you. Thank you, Deepak Parekh and Mr. JJ Irani. And please bring Narsim Munji, the handsome young man, back again. That is all. And Keki Mistry, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Adil.
Bye-bye, Mr. Deepak Parekh.
Bye.
Thank you. Our next question is from speaker shareholder number 15, 16 and 17. They're joining together. That's from Mrs. Sharad Kumar Jivraj Shah, Ms. Surekha Sharad Kumar Shah, and Ms. Nirupama Sharad Kumar Shah. May we request you to please proceed with your question?
Deepak Bhai, my first question, whether you can hear me? Yeah. Can you hear me, sir? Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
yes, I can hear you.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Sir, my basic question, why you are absent in last AGM, sir? Of 16th July. And today economic times, and what you assured people that economy strongly rebound. That is what you said in today's economic times. But at the same time, and you are referring HDFC Life, but news is their claims are increased 4 times in last sir. And another thing, government is started using blockchain. That is also a news. So whether it's a big group, HDFC group, whether blockchain, which is the most safe, most costly device, whether you have started using it or not, that I would like to know. And now I look to see why HDFC, say your employee size is very small compared to HDFC Bank, but at the same time, what I'm looking here, the 23 rupees dividend is equal to 4,143 crores. And if I look into HDFC Bank dividend, it is 1,800 crores. Definitely looking, even if the size is small, but your dividend value is very high, double of the HDFC Bank. So thank you very much. And if I refer page number 25, see, all our results are not good compared to previous year, but the profit before fair value is higher than 1920 this year. Another thing is debit equity ratio is also reduced, sir. Now I will talk about the other one. Somebody said, why don't a group company secretary? Ask me, you don't have to make him group company secretary because he works like a group company secretary. When I write to him, he gets a reply from other companies also for me. And another thing about taxation for me is the government has made a list of specified persons so that uh, and that's a good information. And also he has informed me what HDFC has received from all companies, and HDFC in particular, out of these 4 companies, what I observed, whenever I write a mail, I get a auto response, and then afterwards I get a reply. Also, sometimes why I write so many letters, but whenever there is any information, I have to write, so I cannot write consolidated letter. Another thing, say yesterday, whole market controlled by HDFC Group, sir. Whole market was controlled by HDFC Group. It looks like that you are the leader of the market now. And you talked about housing loan and this and that, but my experience is only that Nirlon company is alive for last 16 years. It's only because of HDFC, and really they are doing construction work, sir. Another thing, sir, yesterday there was a news that your Q1 results were not good, and that is why the market has fallen down. Whether you have declared results, that I would like to. And another thing, 2 days back, I have received a letter from, and what SBI gives me a clear picture of slippage, clear picture of provisions, clear picture of NPA, and this is a financial company. So this information, on the basis of 10 years, why publish in the balance sheet? Last 10 years, slippage, what was provision, what was NPA, definitely, and this is basically fundamental figures. So that is I feel you should provide. And what you said on
Mr.
the
Shah, sorry to interrupt. May we request you to please complete your question, sir?
I don't have much. 2 questions. And another thing, you say remain calm. You don't have any options, sir, during this position. And another thing, that your consolidated report is excellent. So why don't you do that on the in the highlight, so that we per share is very high. Another thing, sir, somebody was talking about the shares going to the government. If you see section 38 of SBI, the section 38 of SBI says only dividend goes to government, shares doesn't go to government. And what somebody said, that if any new issues, that we must get get preferential or the right shares. And if you just see HDFC Bank, this company secretary Santosh Haldalkar has confirmed in the reply that any issues hereafter, the shares in that only they will get allotment in new issues. So, and with the meeting, so I'm very happy, and you should also do it same way. Another thing, sir, HDFC AMC, already I have written to that issue is not resolved. I have written to them also before that 16. So please look into it. And because that issue is not very big, so you do it. And last question, is bank. See, today's price of Bandhan very low compared to what version price. So how much money we lost in Bandhan, that I would like to know. And that's all. Thank you for accommodating me as a speaker, and I'm very happy with you, sir. Sir, one thing is that, yes, this whether, because you are there, this HDFC Bank or HDFC Group doesn't come under RTI, because people say if Deepak Parekh is there, why RTI is required? Because he himself is a transparent, and you have got a the Supreme Court meeting on or the hearing on 22nd. So please clarify on these points. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take our next question from speaker shareholder number 18, Mr. Hasmukh T. Vora. He's connected via an audio call. Please proceed with your question, sir.
Yeah, thank you, madam. I am a shareholder of HDFC Limited since many years. and I am very happy about the appreciation I am getting, the regular dividends, and also I am investing in FD. Second thing is I heartily thank Mr. Ajay Agarwal because he is very cooperative. If we have any problems, he is attending immediately, and that is very nice of him. So my compliments to him. Third thing is FD offices. See, some years back there was an office at Wadala, and then there was an office at Parel. But that Parel office has been closed since about 1.5 years, and subsequently we are facing a lot of problems because in our area, that is Matunga, Sayan, Wadala, Dadar, there is absolutely no office, and it is very difficult to.
Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we've lost the connection for Mr. Vora. We will take our next question in the meanwhile. That's from speaker shareholder number 19, Tamal Kumar Majumdar. Please proceed with your question. Mr. Tamal Kumar Majumdar, may we request you to please unmute your microphone and go ahead with your question.
Go ahead, Kamal.
Sorry, Mr.
We can't
Majumdar, we
hear
are
you.
unable to hear you. Mr. Majumdar, we're not able to hear you. Maybe our technical team can speak with you separately and help you rejoin the question queue, sir. In the meanwhile, we'll take our next question. That's from speaker shareholder number 20, Mr. Rishikesh Chopra. He's connected via an audio call. Mr. Chopra, could you please proceed with your question?
Yes, please. Thank you very much for giving me the time. My question to the management is, the coronavirus and subsequent lockdowns have left virtually no industry untouched. After COVID, how many employees have been sacked, hired, and salary cut in the percentage, if any? What are the new innovations and new products launched after April 1, and what is the response so far? What are the cost-cutting initiatives done by the management? Please enlighten me. Hello?
Do you have any more questions, Mr. Chopra?
No, thank you. Please
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Chopra.
Thank you. Our next question is from speaker shareholder number 21, Vinayak S. Bapat. Please go ahead with your question.
Good afternoon, sir, and ladies and gentlemen. I hope I'm audible. Could you confirm that, please?
You're audible and
Yes,
visible,
we
sir.
can
You
hear
may
you,
proceed.
Mr. Bapat.
The country has been ravaged by the pandemic, as you all know, and unfortunate that tremendous loss of to speak of that one. I'm very happy we have not at HDFC had a single casualty, because as otherwise maybe our board would have reported any casualty if we had. And so I'm very happy for an performance from the company on this score. Secondly, sir, if we have had any casualties, I think an Om step would have been appropriate for the fallen employees of ours. Mr. Nasser Munji, sir, it's been a pleasure to have you on our board over the years. And in addition to the HDFC Limited board, I have had the opportunity to interact with you on Cummins and Tata Motors, and you will be missed. However, every cloud has a silver lining. Maybe you will have more time in Pune and we can offline interact. Dr. Iran, what an innings. And we respect you for all your wise advice over the years, and it will be missed by our board. Having said that, sir, I'll just move on to some of the business items. Before that, I would be failing in my duty if I do not acknowledge and appreciate the effort of Ajay Agarwal and his team. It's an outstanding secretarial team. They go to great lengths to make the shareholders at home and also facilitate their participation in the company's affairs. Sir, a few points on our quality of reporting. Page number 2, a nice table at the heading. It would help if it is outlined or highlighted whether this is a standalone statistic or a consolidated picture. And I will also appreciate if we can add one of the two lines in that table, the sanctions, year-on-year sanctions given or year-on-year disbursement. The choice is left to the management team. Either of that would give a clear indication as to how the business is progressing over the years. The outstanding loans is net of our sale of loans. So very often the outstanding advances number is not truly an indicator of how good the business was or how we clocked on the business trend. Sir, on page 73, there's a beautiful RBI new norms pie chart which shows what is the new requirement in line with the new RBI norms. Help if we had the current year's status also, because in as much as you have nicely laid out what is expected of HDFC Limited 322, 31, 323, if the position on 31, 321 was also there, immediately we would have known, okay, the corporation is 80% there, 90% there, and we have a small gap to bridge. And also, sir, on the pie chart, if we had a previous year number, we can always indicate to it and say the company is doing well or not. There is a small inconsistency in our reporting between pages 34 and 64, and it pertains to the commission payable to our chairman as well as our independent directors. On page 34, we have a different set of figures, and they say that we have not increased the commission paid to IDs as well as chairman. But if you see page 64, the commission paid there is different from what is on page 34. This inconsistency may be, you can answer that. On page 63, on the CSR committee of directors, we have a nice table, but we do not have the sitting fees paid to the CSR committee members. Is it that the CSR committee members are working gratis of the cause for which a CSR is there? If it is there, sir, they have worked in gratis, we would appreciate and respect their contribution. Sir, on the governance side, we have been at the forefront. We are the gold standard, if you see across corporate India. And page 167 highlights this in no small way. The CSR contribution that we have made good for FY 15-16 of rupees 20 crores, however small it might look, is noteworthy. Very few corporations have made good past shortfalls. Our own HDFC Bank has not made good for the same years, and the quantum is 113 crores. And I have brought it up at their meeting, and I would urge Madam Renu Karnad, who is our oversight director on the HDFC Bank, to nudge them and get them to complete that, because they are not short of money or profits or anything. I think
Mr.
our
Bapat,
oversight would help.
sorry to interrupt,
Yes.
Mr. Bapat. May we request you to complete your question quickly, as there are other participants
Minute.
waiting for their turn?
Yeah, I understand. Sir, in our page 207 and 208, where we give a asset liability match and mismatch, which is required as per RBI, you might notice that 3 or 4 of the first buckets in terms of days, 0, 15, 30, 40, are all of no use, because the annual report comes to us 3 months after the balance sheet date. And if there is any match or mismatch, it is of no use. However, being an infrastructure business where our lending and borrowing is on the longer term, the buckets after 5 years can be suitably classified 5 to 7, 7 to 10, so that we get a correct picture of the asset and liability. The whole purpose of that asset liability matching would be served. And secondly, that asset liability, if you can have on one page, it will save us a lot of craned necks, because we have to keep turning back and forth. The assets is on one page, the liabilities on the next page. And if you can add a total column, then it gives a complete picture. Sir, I really have to ask you, please investment in yes. What is the amount invested in rupees yes? And with the new regulation RBI on HFC increasing, do you foresee a time in the near future, in 3 years, where HDFC will have to seriously look at its investment portfolio and decide, because we may end up, having to work or oblige multiple regulators. The insurance business goes to IRADI or whatever. The AMC business goes to SEBI or whatever. And the banking business and housing finance is going to RBI. So we must seriously look at that from a portfolio point of view. And the business strategy committee, I would urge them to look at 2 or 3 promising opportunities. One is data centers. Data centers are emerging as a very, very promising business area in India. And all of them require a lot of good real estate. So instead of funding some office premises,
Mr. Bapat, I'm sorry.
with developers,
Sorry to
you can tie
interrupt,
up
Mr.
with a
Bapat.
micro develop and do a developing for countries.
Mr. Bapat, you have extended your time, sir. There are several participants waiting for their turn.
I
It may be
understand, ma'am.
required.
I'm just about to complete. And on these data centers, sir, we can mount solar panels. So that way we can fund. And then we should look at green. There are a lot of LED buildings today. HDFC has got good credit rating. So if we tap into the global green bonds market, we have virtual this thing. Thank you for patient hearing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Our next question is from speaker shareholder number 22, Dharav Jamadar. Please go ahead with your question.
Greetings of the day to every dignitary. An honor and privilege to be in front of you. My best wishes and farewell to the 2 retiring directors. Sir, I hope I'm audible and visible.
Mr. Jamadar, we can see you and hear you. Please proceed.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So, and I congratulate each and every stakeholders and board members and employees on showing such courageous attitude and perseverance in delivering such a fantastic number in last year. I have certain questions which I would like the board to address. My first question is to Chairman, sir. Sir, where do you see our company 6 years down the line when we will be having our 50th AGM? Second, looking at the financialization in India, do you see our country is following the Western world and Japanese economy, that is having savings rate at nil or negative? If yes, then what will be the financial landscape in India at that particular time? Third, is our company foraying into a new business or any financial services which we don't have till now? Fourth, what according to you, apart from COVID or economic slowdown, are the major headwinds for us in the near future? Fifth, what synergy has the merger of HDFC Ergo and Apollo Munich Health Insurance Company Limited created till now? And what further synergy can we expect from this particular merger? Next, why does our company utilize Black and Scholes model, particularly for determining fair price of ESOPs given to our employees? And why not 2 other models that are there, binomial option pricing model and Monte Carlo simulation model? So can you please elucidate the logic behind that? Next, can we expect a merger with HDFC Bank? If yes, again, what sort of synergy can be unlocked? Sixth, has our company invested in any unicorn business? A small suggestion, looking at the current educational landscape in our country right now, EdTech is really a growing business, as we have already have HD Parekh Foundation, which has already done CSR activity of around 38.94 crores in this year out of 189.82 crore of the total CSR done. So you can look into that matter also. And we also have our funding company, that is HDFC Credila. Next, why don't our company list its ADR or GDR? Lastly, a small request which I would like to put through this platform is, sir, Having a profound research and education and finance background, I would really like to associate myself with this company in the research and finance department. Thank you, sir. Looking forward for your answers.
Thank you. Our next speaker shareholder, number 23, has connected via an audio call. Mrs. Humayun Pordehi, request you to please proceed with your question.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Hello, Mr. Deepak Parekh. We are missing a physical AGMs, as you know. We used to meet you personally, along with our beloved Keki Mystery and the others. We really hope physical AGMs come back and we again get to meet you. So I also want to draw your attention. Please take up this matter with the authorities. How is it practical for us to file 15H form in every company, in so many companies? It's just not practical. And our taxes keep on being cut. I keep on getting letters how much of our TDS has been cut unnecessarily. We can't cope filing 15H form in all the companies. So now another thing is, I could not hear your speech. So we would like to know, so how is the real estate market just now? Is it picking up after the pandemic? Because I am on audio. That is the reason. So, and you know, HDFC AMC, I was not unmuted. So I could not talk. Though I was on my mobile since 2 hours. And just one more thing, of course, like the others, even I completely praise our company secretary and their team for taking so much effort in bringing us to the speaker's platform. It needs lots of patience, follow-up, and everything. So thank you. Thanks to your company secretary and Lakshmi and all the others for all the effort they have done and the patience in bringing us to the speaker's platform. So now regarding this work from home, so I would just like to know regarding your offices all over India, so are they open? Are the staff working there? So because you say digital retail, it is not practical. Only now I came to know how to do online booking and online purchases being a senior citizen. So if the office is there, they go directly and do the needful. So we just want to know, is it work from home or are the offices functioning all over India and so on. So we wish our company all the best. We wish you also all the best. And we look forward to still better days ahead. You have, of course, rewarded the shareholders a lot. You are an authority yourself. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We will now take
Thank you.
questions from our participants who've been able to reconnect to the conference, to the AGM. Our next speaker shareholder is number 19, Mr. Tamal Kumar Majumdar. Please proceed with your question.
Whether I am audible, ma'am?
Yes, sir, you are.
Good noon, Parekh sir, Mistry sir, Punji sir, Dr. Irani and other directors of the company. Myself, Tamal Kumar Majumdar, an equity shareholder from Kolkata. And after the meeting, we'll miss the electrifying presence of our beloved Nasir Munji sahab. And I'm totally agree with the Adil, whether we may take him after 1 year or 6 months as a director again. And we also wish him good health and spirit in the coming years. Sir, my special thanks to our beloved company secretary, Mr. Ajay Agarwal, and his team consists of Urudaba, Bhattacharya, Lakshmi, and others for maintaining cordial relationship with shareholders. Mr. Agarwal is always available over phone or mail and always ready to sort out any shareholder-related problems. He is with our company for a long time and has the vision to be the group secretary. Honestly hope that you and the board will consider our request in this respect. Sir, I have some queries relating to audited accounts and other matters. Firstly, considering the COVID scenario on our financial results for financial year 21 is really praiseworthy due to transfer of Growth Finance to Bandhan and profit on sale of investment totaling a whopping 12,643 crores during financial year 20. The company booked a PBT of 20,351 crores during financial year 20. And without considering Guru episode, this year result is better than financial year 20. Considering the bleak scenario due to second wave of COVID and ensuing third wave, what is your expectation from the remaining part of the current year? Whether growth of loan disbursement took place during the Q1 of financial year 22? Sir, what is the status of direction given by RBI to reduce our shareholding in HDFC Argo below 50% by 12th May 2021? Would you please share with us the profit on sale if it is already being carried out? And is there any possibility of HDFC Argo to go for public issue in the near future? And sir, we want to know, would you please share us with your thoughts in respect of RBI direction, rationale of RBI direction of decreasing shareholding of our insurance companies below 50%. I want to know your viewpoint. Our company also sold 24.48% equity capital of Good Host Spaces Private Limited during financial year 22. It is in page 143. Would you share with us the profit booked in on the sale during financial year 22? Sir, despite COVID issue looming large on us, our cost to income ratio excluding notional cost on ESOPs stood at 7.7% from 9% during financial year 20. The spread on loans over the cost of borrowings also increased from 2.27% to 2.29%, which is really commendable. What is your expectation in this regard during the remaining part of the year? And what about the first quarter? In this regard, what about first quarter? Sir, our company made a provision of 2,948 crores, including provision for impact of COVID during financial year 21. Under page 83 of the report mentioned that cumulative COVID provision as on 31st March is 844 crores. In this connection, I want to know the amount of provision made during financial year 21 in respect of COVID issue, and what was the loss borne by our company in this respect during financial year 21. Sir, out of the crores remitted to eligible customers by our company during financial year 21, in terms of announcement of government relating to ex-gratia on account of difference between compound interest and simple interest, our company received an amount of 213 crores from the government. What will be the fate of the remaining 65 crores? Whether received during the current year or it is being adjusted against PL account. The difference between 278 and 215 crores. And under which head the company showed 307 crores received by it. Again, our company issued 1 crore 70 lakhs 57,400 warrants at an issue price of 180 per warrant, with a right to exchange warrant against one equity share at a predetermined price of 2,165 per share, anytime before 36 months from the date of allotment. Under which head the company showed these 307 crores received on account of the 180 per share, and whether any conversion took place as on date. Whether the said 180 rupees per warrant will be adjusted against proposed premium of 2,163 crores, 63 per share at the time of conversion. I want to know whether 180 will be adjusted against 2,163. Please share your thoughts in this regard, sir. Sir, you told the issue of issue in the chairman's letter regarding poaching of home loan customers by other players in the market. It is in page 23. Whether our company lost substantial customers due to such activities by other players.
Mr. Majumdar, may we request you to quickly complete your question, sir?
Whether our company also is a part of the game. Sir, I also believe that insurance must be made mandatory with immediate effect against every housing loan in order to safeguard the interest of both the customers and the company. The government and RBI must take appropriate steps in this regard immediately. In this connection, I want to know the loss borne by our company during financial year 2021 due to non-availability of the same. That is insurance policy. And sir, company invested 1,000 crores in the equity of Yes Bank in terms of rescue plan by the Reserve Bank. we have 21.24% holding in HDFC Bank and 9.9% holding in Bandhan Bank. Whether the investment is made on its what role the company plays as regards investment in Bandhan Bank and Yes Bank. Whether we have appointed an nominee on the board of these banks. Please share your thoughts, sir. Sir, our company used to collect yearly fees for using HDFC brand by our subsidiaries associates. What was the total amount earning in this respect during financial year 21? And sir, audit report mentioned the gross value of assets worth 137 crores is in the process of selling. What is the present status in this respect? And company received a regulatory, and whether the company received regulatory clearance in respect of true properties valued at 114 crores in favor of the company, as mentioned in the audit report, page number 101. And sir, you converted HDFC Credila Financial Services into public limited company. What is the rationale? What is the reason for such conversion? And whether our company may go for for its listing in the coming years. And last one question, sir, regarding resolution number 9. Last year the resolution was there, but there was no issue regarding a issue of NCDs totaling not exceeding rupees 1,25,000. Whether it will remain a enabling resolution during the current year also. And lastly, sir, resolution number 8 deals with the borrowing power of the company from 5 lakh crores to 6 lakh crores. And our borrowing balance as on 31st March 2021 is 4,41,000 crore, 1,365 crores. Whether it is enough for a period of 5 years, next 5 years, because the earlier resolution was taken during 2018. So whether the increase will cover our demand, our requirement up to the next 4-5 years. Thank you all for patient hearing.
Thank you. Our next speaker shareholder has reconnected to the AGM. That's speaker shareholder number 13, Shobna Mehta. Please proceed with your question. Ms. Shobna Mehta, may we request you to please go ahead with your question? I'm sorry, we are unable to hear you, Ms. Shobna Mehta. We will move to our next speaker shareholder number 18, Mr. Hasmukti Vora. Please proceed with your question. You may ask your question right now, sir.
Yes, sir, my next point was regarding our this Growth Finance. We had that was merged with Bandhan Bank. In the process, our company HDFC Limited has made very handsome gain. But as far as the shareholders are concerned, they were lost heavily. Same I hard-earned savings I had invested in Growth Finance. But because of this merger with Bandhan Bank, I have substantially lost a good amount of my investment. So that was not a good decision by our company. And next point is thank you and all the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from speaker shareholder number 25, Mr. Manoj Maheshwari. Please proceed with your question.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Great. Honorable Chairman, sir, distinguished Board of Directors of HDFC, CFO and the Company Secretary and fellow shareholders who has joined the meeting. I am Manoj Maheshwari joining this meeting from Jaipur, sir. At the outset, I congratulate the entire board members, CSR committee, and those who are involved in CSR activity in our corporation for commendable job. I was just going through the CSR activity undertaken during the year and the amount spent. It is across the country and the sectors which you have covered is really great. So hats off to you all people for commendable CSR activity in truly letter and spirit. My first observation is with regard to divestment of our investment in HDFC Ergo and HDB Financial Services. Though HDB is subsidiary of our associate companies, but since we are promoter of HDFC Bank also, so indirectly we also control this company. Considering the prevalent IPO scenario in our country, investors community are desperate to hear from you about the IPOs of both the beautiful companies in our kitty. So I would like if you can share your views on this. And last but not the least, the bonus issue which was given by our corporation way back in 2002, to the best of my understanding, sir, in the ratio of 1:1. So of course, present financial and economic scenario may not be befitting, but I would request the honorable board to please consider it in due course of time whenever it is appropriate, because we as an investor intends to hear this good news from you of bonus equity shares. This is all from my side. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Maheshwari.
Thank you. Our next question is from speaker shareholder number 26, Mr. Bharat Shah. Please proceed with the question.
सर मेरी आवाज आ रही?
आ रही है.
हाँ. माननीय श्री के मिस्त्री जी, श्री नासिर मुंजी जी, रेणु कन्नड़ जी और अन्य मान्यवर डायरेक्टर. सर मेरा नाम भरत शाह. सर मैं 1.5 से पौने स्पीच कंप्लीट करने की. सर कोई क्वेरी नहीं है, एकदम कंपनी चलाई है, शेयर होल्डर का हित को हमेशा ध्यान रखा है, शेयर होल्डर को रिस्पेक्ट दिया है सर, और मुश्किल परिस्थिति में भी आपने छप्पर फाड़ के डिविडेंड दिया है सर. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर. कंपनी दिन दोगुनी रात चौगुनी आगे बढ़े, ईश्वर को मेरी हृदयपूर्वक की प्रार्थना है सर. और सर एक और कि जहाँ कंपनी में जहाँ भी है तो न्यूट्रली वो कंपनी बहुत बहुत आगे बढ़ती है सर. शेयर होल्डर को बहुत रिटर्न्स मिलता है सर, और अच्छा डिविडेंड मिलता है. लोगों को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ सर. और सर ये भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ. और सर मेरे ने बोला ऐसा मैं भी इसमें आपको 2 रुपया से पे करने का रिक्वेस्ट, और टाइम हो गया है. तो लास्ट बोनस आपने कभी दिया था बताना जरूर. और एक बोनस ये साल तो सर जरूर देने की मेरे को आपको रिक्वेस्ट है. और सर मैं कंपनी से अजय अग्रवाल जी, उनकी टीम और उनकी पूरी बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ सर. कोई भी क्वेरी हो तो जल्दी सोल्व करते हैं, शेयर होल्डर को रिस्पेक्ट देते हैं. तो मैं अजय अग्रवाल जी और लक्ष्मी जी की पूरी टीम को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ सर. और अजय अग्रवाल जी कहूँ सर तो बहुत हार्ड वर्किंग और ऑनेस्ट है वो. तो मेरे आगे एक शेयर होल्डर ने बोला ऐसा मैं भी बोलता ग्रुप कंपनी सेक्रेटरी के साथ ग्रुप कंपनी का हेड, ग्रुप कंपनी के हेड भी जरूर लक्ष्मी जी को भी बहुत बढ़ोतरी दीजिए सर. बाकी सर कोविड कंट्रोल में आने के बाद गेट टुगेदर जरूर करना सर. नेक्स्ट ईयर जो आज स्पीकर शेयर होल्डर आए हैं उनको जरा आप जरूर मिलने का गेट टुगेदर करना कोविड कंट्रोल में आने के बाद. नेक्स्ट ईयर फिजिकल मीटिंग सर जरूर हॉल में करना, तो फेस टू फेस अपन मिलते थे ऐसा मिलेंगे तो बहुत आनंद आएगा सर. बाकी सब रिजोल्यूशन में मेरा पूरा सपोर्ट है सर. जय श्री कृष्ण, जय हिंद, जय महाराष्ट्र सर. जय हिंद सर.
Thank you, Mr. Shah.
Thank you. Our next question is from shareholder number 27, Mr. Vinod Agarwal. Please proceed with your question.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me? Hello?
We can hear you, sir. Please go ahead with your question.
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Agarwal.
Yeah, respected Chairman Deepak ji, CEO Mr. KK Mistry ji, Company Secretary Ajay Agarwal ji. I congratulate Ajay for making an annual report of 386 pages, which is colorful. It's a heavy tome of a book, though it is electronically we have to read it, which is very cumbersome to read. Had it been physical, it would have been much easier to flip back and forth the pages. Yeah, one observation, sir. In your introductory speech, you mentioned there are 10 resolutions for these AGM, while the notice of the AGM mentions only 9 resolutions. So there is a slight difference. The notice mentioned 9, and you said 10 resolutions in your meeting. Yeah, we are happy with you, Deepak sir. You have created a lot of wealth for all your stakeholders in all the companies that we are invested in. I'm invested in all your 4 companies. And they've created immense wealth for all the shareholders. Yeah, coming to this thing, sir. Sir, last year we issued 1 crore 70 lakh warrants, from which at the rate of 180, and received 307 crores. And the balance, it says 2165 rupees, 2165 per warrant would be exercisable by the warrant holders. Now, this 2165 is plus 180, or is it minus 180? I would like to know from you on the 1 crore 70 lakh warrants that you have issued during the past year. Yeah, I would also like to know the date for RBI deadline for you to reduce a stake in Ergo, HDFC Ergo has gone by. It was 15th, May 15th. It has gone by. Now, by when are you contemplating to reduce your stake, or are we likely to see a fresh issue of those shares to shareholders in diluting, as you have done in your other companies, HDFC Life and HDFC AMC, where you had given preference shares to the preference to the shareholders of the HDFC? We'd like to see that thing. Yeah, I endorse your views on the regulatory tweaks that are needed, as mentioned on page 23, for the insurance to become part of the home loan when a loan taker is there, aligning the accounting standards for banks and the HFCs, regulating the shifting of borrowers from one borrower to the other. I endorse your views on those things, and page 23, which you mentioned. Yeah, and I'm happy with the CSR activity you've done. I wish the company all the best for all the years to come by, and you keep on creating wealth for us. I'm signing off. Vinod Agarwal from Mumbai, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Agarwal.
Thank you. Our next question is from speaker shareholder number 28, Mr. K.S. Balasubramanian. Please go ahead with your question.
Audible, madam? Is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can hear you.
Mr. Chairman, Managing Director, and other directors, I am K.S. Balasubramanian, a shareholder from Coimbatore, taking part in this 44th AGM of India's largest and leading housing finance company, HDFC, as a speaker. In the backdrop of COVID-19 pandemic situation, the performance of the company, though not an outstanding one, yet remained highly satisfactory. The interest income was 44,461 crores as against 45,253 during 2020. Profit before tax was 24,237 crores versus 26,193 crores. EPS was 195.59 versus 124.14. As against the paid up capital of 360.79 crores, the results are hefty with 1,56,353 crores. The focus on ESG has to be appreciated. Zero plastic bottles, recycling, paper waste, solar panels, etc. speak for themselves. Really, HDFC has stolen a march over others in this regard. Regarding queries, under QIP, the company raised 10,000 crores by allotting 56,81,182 shares with a face value of rupees 2 at 1,760 per share, and also raised 307 crores through the issue of 1,70,400 warrants at an issue rate of 280 per warrant, with a right to exchange the same on or before 10/8/23 at 2,105 per share. Besides, the company also through NCD raised 3,693 crores at the coupon rate of 5.4% interest. Sir, first of all, the issue price of 1,760 per share did not reflect the intrinsic value, and I feel it is grossly undervalued. Secondly, the issue of warrants at 180 per warrant with an inbuilt clause with a right to exchange it on or before 10/8/23 at 2,105 is yet another blunder that the company has committed. And blatantly, the move is not at all shareholder friendly, sir. Thirdly, the rising of 3,693 crores at 5.4% interest appears to be on the higher side. And what was the need to raise such an amount when incoming deposits were swelling? The deposits as on March 31st, 2021 were 1,50,141 crores as against 1,32,324 crores an year ago. I consider this as not a prudent financial decision. Apart from this, the board has also approved issue of redeemable non-convertible debentures, secured or unsecured, or any other hybrid instruments up to 1.25 lakhs crores within a year. What is the hurry? Is the situation is so warranted? The collection efficiency has improved from 96.3% during September 2020 to 96% in March 21. In that circumstances, what is the need for raising capital again and again? And what interest rate they are to be issued? And are they on private investment places? Merger of HDFC subsidiary Ergo Health Insurance with the HDFC General Insurance was approved by the National Company Law Tribunal, and as per RBI's instructions, the shareholding in HDFC Life Insurance came down to 49.97%, and which seems to be the subsidiary of the company. Higher provision than regulatory needs rethinking, Chairman sir. Chairman has said that the provision was made for 13,625 crores, which is much more than 5,491 crores needed. Is it due to the uncertain future of the possible COVID-19 second or third wave? Is the company satisfied with the restructured loans provisioning? Portfolios of the outstanding borrowers have been critically analyzed. We have about 3,250 employees, and with the care and share taken by the management, I hope all of them are safe and secured. Under CSR, the company has spent nearly 169.2 crores, mostly through ST Parekh Foundation, resorted to direct procurement of essential medical equipments and distributed to the needy, which is once again very commendable one, sir, compared to other companies. Direct procurement and direct distribution is something fantastic. As a shareholder, though I am happy with the increased dividend of rupees 23 per share, yet I feel that considering the strong balance sheet and excellent working, the dividend distribution policy needs a relook. And whether to declare any bonus shares or to enhance the dividend to 30 rupees next year is at the disposal of the board. Once again, wishing the company a glorious future. Thanking you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Balasubramanian.
Our next question is from Speaker Shareholder number 29, Mr. Dinesh G. Bhatia. Please go ahead with your question. Mr. Bhatia, could you please unmute your microphone and proceed with your question, sir? Yes.
अभी आप सुन सकते हैं? हेलो
जी सर, इससे आपकी आवाज आ रही है.
દીપક પારેખ સાહેબ, તમને તો ઘણા કોંગ્રેચ્યુલેશન કહું કે તમારી પેશન્ટને હું દાદ આપું છું. અત્યાર સુધીના અમે ઘણી મીટિંગો અટેન્ડ કરી છે. मैंने अब तक काफी मीटिंग अटेंड किया है, जिसमें चेयरमैन जो है उसमें मैं आपको तो ये प्लस में रखता हूँ कि आपकी जो पेशेंट है, कल हमारी HDFC लाइफ की मीटिंग थी, वो भी जो 3 बजे चालू हुई, आपने 5:30 बजे तक शेयर होल्डर को मौका दिया और शेयर होल्डर का जवाब दिया। शांति से, पेशेंट से आप जो शेयर होल्डर को सुन रहे हैं और सेटिस्फैक्ट्री जवाब दे रहे हैं, उसके लिए मैं आपको खूब खूब आभार मानता हूँ, कांग्रेचुलेशन कहता हूँ कि बहुत आपका नेचर बढ़िया है। मैंने एक रतन टाटा जी को देखा, दूसरा आपको देखा, आप उसकी बरोबरी में है कि जो आप एथिक पर्सन और एक्सलेंट चेयरमैन, दोनों में आप एक्सलेंट है सर। तो मैं आपको और आपका पूरा टीम को उसके लिए भी कांग्रेचुलेशन करता हूँ कि ऐसा पेंडेमिक पीरियड में भी हमारी कंपनी ने अच्छा मुनाफा किया है। भले हमारा लास्ट ईयर से ईपीएस जो है 2 रुपये के सामने 105 रुपया हुआ है, जो लास्ट ईयर 124 हुआ था। ये साल हमारा मुनाफा जो अर्निंग पर शेयर जो है 105 कंसोलिडेटेड है। वो फिर भी आपने शेयर होल्डर का जो डिविडेंड है वो जो बढ़ाया है, उसके लिए भी आपको, आपका टीम को मैं कांग्रेस करता हूँ, थैंक्स करता हूँ कि आपने जो डिविडेंड 2 रुपये के शेयर पे 1150% जो दिया है, लास्ट ईयर 1050% था, ये दफे 1150% जो डिविडेंड दिया है, उसके लिए भी मैं आपको थैंक यू करता हूं कि बहुत आपका शेयर होल्डर के प्रति जो भावना है, बहुत अच्छी भावना है कि शेयर होल्डर को ज्यादा से ज्यादा मिले फायदा, वो आपकी बहुत अच्छी चीज है। हमें बहुत खुशी हुई। और हमारे जो बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर देखते हैं, अकबर के दरबार में जो 9 रत्न है, ऐसे जो 9 डायरेक्टर जो है, सभी डायरेक्टर, किसका वखान नहीं करूं, एक से बढ़ के एक, केकी मिस्त्री लो, के रेणु कर्नाड जी लो, के बाकी के जो एक से बढ़ के एक डायरेक्टर आपने चुने हुए, जो बहुत बढ़िया काम कर रहे हैं। और हमारी कंपनी का जो गुडविल जो है और ही और आगे बढ़ रहा है। बस मेरा हर एक रिजोल्यूशन में सपोर्ट है। और आपका सेक्रेटरियल डिपार्टमेंट का भी मैं थैंक्स करता हूं कि उन्होंने हमें ये वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस में जोड़ने के लिए हेल्प किया। थैंक यू, आभार सर।
Thank you, Mr. Bhatia.
Thank you. Our next speaker, shareholder number 30, Mr. Kushagra Jain, has not connected. Therefore, we'll move with our participant number 31. That's Hariram Chaudhary. Please proceed with your question.
Yes. Can you hear me? But where is your audio video? I don't see. You can hear me, moderator? You can hear me?
Yes,
yes,
we
Can you hear me? Can I proceed further?
Yes, please
yes.
proceed.
See. Okay. Chairman Sri Deepak Parekh ji, my name is Hariram Chaudhary. I am speaking from my home at Santa Cruz. And just a minute. Just a minute. I am speaking from home at Santa Cruz. And I will take only 3 minutes, Mr. Chairman. Now, you have given, Deepak ji, you have given a very encouraging picture of this year. We are happy about that. Now, I suggest, I am speaking only for CSR. Kindly let us know how much amount we have spent for COVID affected people. Whether we provided PPE kits, whether we provided ICU beds, whether we provided ventilators, oxygen concentrators, or COVID center as a whole, because we are in HDFC providing the premises, or whether we have provided food for migrant workers. What else we have done for the COVID affected people? How much amount we have spent for COVID affected people? And how much total amount we have spent for CSR, and whether this money is more than 2% of the net profit of the company. Now kindly let us know, Mr. Chairman, who is the chairman of the CSR committee and who are the members of the CSR committee. And my suggestion is that a get-together can be held after Diwali, 4th November is Diwali. In 2nd or 3rd week of November, we can have the get-together. And since all the speaker shareholders must have taken 2 doses of vaccine, there will not be any fear of infection. Now, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate the efforts of Company Secretary Lakshmi ji. I was not lucky to receive the phone call from Ajay Agarwal ji. Agarwal ji, I am also Agarwal. Next year, कम से कम हमको मत भूलिए.
मीटिंग के बाद भी अगर आपका फोन आएगा, आई विल बी वेरी हैप्पी. नाउ my request is that since you must have printed some copy of the physical copy, one copy may at least be sent to me. Many companies are sending to me, including the large industries. And I appreciate that the moderator is announcing the speaker name number also, so we know that our number when it will come. Now, for NPA, can you let us know what steps you have taken to reduce the NPA and what latest technology you have adopted? Digital technology, kindly let us know about that. And I support all the resolution. I believe in discipline, and therefore I conclude my speech by conveying my best wishes for all round progress and prosperity of the company. My name is Hari Ram Chaudhary. Thank you, Deepak ji.
Thank you, Mr. Chaudhary.
Thank you. We'll take our next question from speaker shareholder number 32, Ajay Sangvi. Please go ahead with your question.
Respect Mr. Deepak S. Parekh, Vice Chairman and CEO, Mr. KKM Mistry, Ms. Renu Sud Karnad, Managing Director, Board, Mr. Ajay Agrawal, the Company Secretary, wonderful person and very cooperative. It has been an honor to be engaged with an organization that HDFC is today. I am proud of the smallest of steps and achievements from digitalizations to the green innovatives, which given the size of HDFC will have a massive impact. These two and inspirations and forward steps that sets benchmark for the industry. No wonder we have been able to bag numerous prestigious awards this year too. Sir, my suggestion to you, sir, my question to you is how Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana credit linked scheme workers, and would like to know detailed information. My suggestion, the AGM annual report shareholder booklet can be circulated in a digital flipbook format and email. It becomes easier to read. It has an option to share, convert, download, plus search option, plus thumbnail, etc. The corporation has also undertaken various relief activities for the human and health crisis faced by different sections of society, healthcare workers and frontline persons such as the police, doctors and sanitation workers. Please note, sir, we run a professional studio where we do corporate films and professional. We would like to offer pro bono services for the initiatives taken by HDFC for all their CS activities, which can be complied and shown in future AGMs. Looking forward, I suggest more customer-friendly, informative, inclusive drives and campaign that educate customer and create a sense of to the HDFC family. It is the HDFC experience that must be showcased across all customers, physically and digitally. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next
Thank
question
you, Mr.
is from
Sangvi.
Our next question is from speaker shareholder number 33, Mr. Deepak Kapoor. Please go ahead with your question.
Yes, hi. Good afternoon to everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. This is Deepak Kapoor. I'm from Delhi. I thank everyone for giving me an opportunity to speak today. It's a pleasure to speak to all of you. I must give credit to the board in sort of leading HDFC during this past difficult year. It has been a very difficult year for everybody, for businesses, for individuals, and I think the board has steered the company very well. My special appreciation for Mr. Mistry. Mr. Mistry has been, very regularly coming and interacting with the media, with the analysts and newspaper interviews, etc., keeping shareholders informed as to the progress of the company. So that is really appreciated. I have a couple of questions. One is regarding our investment in subsidiaries. And as you all know, we have 21% shareholding in HDFC Bank. That's substantial holding given HDFC Bank is about $112 billion market cap. What is not very clear is sometimes the benefit we can get out of that 21% shareholding. So how do HDFC Limited shareholders benefit? I know there is this unaccounted gains we have out of our listed investments, but sometimes we have bad news from our subsidiaries and maybe HDFC Bank, and we get affected because of that. And sometimes we have positive news from our subsidiaries, but we might not necessarily get positive on our stock valuation, etc., because of that. So I think it will be great if the board can sort of give their thoughts on how do you see going forward this 21% investment we have in HDFC Bank. How do we leverage that for the benefit of our shareholders within HDFC Limited? We do have this loan origination collaboration, which we have. I do understand that. But I think in terms of value we get, other than our price to book multiples, etc., because of the unaccounted gains, that clarity is not there to some of the shareholders. So that'll be great if we can sort of get the board to give us some responses on that. The other one is, again, related to our stock price, is this calendar year, we seem to be pretty much flat in terms of our returns, flat to negative in terms of our return on HDFC Limited stock price. The index has given about 10% returns this year, but we have been pretty much flat. So what's the thinking of the board in terms of the future outlook of our stock performance going forward, especially given the fact that we have only 11%, I think, is what the mortgage ratio is in terms of percentage of GDP in India, which is quite low, and hence we have a lot of growth going ahead. But still, it seems the market doesn't give us a premium in terms of multiples. And is there a particular reason you feel the market is not giving us a premium? And what are those reasons? How can we address it? So these are my couple of questions, which I hope either Mr. Parekh or Mr. Mistry will be able to answer. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to speak to all of you.
Thank you, Mr. Kapoor.
Thank you. Our next question is from Speaker Shareholder number 34, Sailesh Mahadevia. Please proceed with your question.
Yes. Respected Chairman, distinguished directors, and members of the company participating in the meeting. Sir, you have given one more year of excellent working. Good report has been presented to the shareholders. Good dividend has been given. And the secretarial department has given good cooperation to enable us to participate. And sir, my best wishes to Nancy Munji and J.J. Irani, who have given their valuable service to the corporation. Sir, now I wish to confine myself only to the page number 12 and 13 of a report regarding our ESG initiatives. Sir, I have no intention of giving any advice, and I don't want to say that the knowledge on the subject is not there with the board of directors. But, sir, I submit I am little surprised that we have on our board Miss Renu Sood Karnad, our managing director, who is a champion on ESG. Sir, our yesterday's meeting of HDFC Life Science also gave an excellent report on ESG. Not only that, our rating is one of the highest in the country. And Miss Karnad was also a member on the webinar sponsored by CRISIL, and she was one of the major participants. So that is why I would like to know from her what the company will be doing for ESG in the next years to come. Sir, further, I wish to point out that the business responsibility report, I have not been able to find either in the main report or separately as it used to be done in the past. It used to give me two important information. One was regarding the total number of employees and in particular women employees. Sir, can you give me some idea about that? And from next year, this BRR report will have to be business responsibility and the development report, which will include all the three aspects of ESG: environment, society, and the governance. Sir, in the report which has been presented on the 2 pages, it has only been made very briefly about our initiatives in these 3 areas. But to the best of my knowledge, the best ESG will be that we take into account what all the stakeholders are also doing in the field of ESG, to what extent they are participating. Sir, the whole world is worried about the planet, and therefore ESG has become one of the most important indicator, not only for an individual company, but for the entire economy and for the world. And internationally, all the capital market members, they refer to the ESG, just as we refer to the GDP of a country. So, sir, we would like to hear more on this. Sir, similarly, the related thing, can we expect an integrated report giving an idea about all the 6 capitals of the company and how they have been used to increase the value for the shareholders? And similarly, sir, CSR is also a part of this entire group of ESG. Well, I could find out that we have spent 189 crores during the year as against our responsibility of 169 crores, which is very much appreciated. And sir, further, what I expect, that just as we are one of the leading company in the housing finance, we should be a leader in our ESG activities, and we should be the beacon and we should be the guideline to the corporate world as such. Sir, I would like to hear more on this subject. And sir, before I conclude, I must mention that the chorus who are conducting this particular program took more than 70 minutes before they could connect me. And even now, when I hear other speakers, there are often misses and losses, both visual as well as sound. Sir, yesterday's program was a seamless program. Excellent service. Sir, this requires examination because we get an opportunity only once a year. And therefore, we want to enjoy, we want to study, we want to learn from people like you who are some of the prominent citizens of our country. And I respect all of them. And I wish our organization every success, which is our way of life in any case. And I don't look at it the result of only 1 year, but I look at it the performance of the company over a long period of time, and which has been excellent as far as our company is concerned. Thank you very much, sir, for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Mahadevia.
Thank you. We will now take up a question from a shareholder who's reconnected. That is shareholder number 13, Ms. Shobna Mehta. She's connected via audio call. Please go ahead with your question, Ms. Mehta.
Hello. Respected Chairman. Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
We can hear you, Ms. Mehta. Please
Can
proceed.
you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you, Shobna Mehta.
Respected Chairman, Sri Deepak Bhai, Vice Chairman and CEO, Sri Keki ji, MD श्रीमती रेणु जी और अन्य मेरे जाने माने डायरेक्टर भाइयों और शेयर होल्डर भाई बहन, मेरा नाम शोभना मेहता, आई एम फ्रॉम सूरत. गुड आफ्टरनून एवरीवन. सर, ईमेल के थ्रू बैलेंस शीट एंड नोटिस इन टाइम मिली. हमारे सेक्रेटरी डिपार्टमेंट ने बैलेंस शीट कलरफुल इंफॉर्मेटिव बनाई है, तो मैं हमारे कंपनी सेक्रेटरी श्री अजय जी और उनकी पूरी टीम को और बैलेंस शीट बनाने में जिनका भी योगदान रहा है वो सभी एग्जीक्यूटिव्स को भी धन्यवाद देते हुए कहूंगी, वेरी वेल डन, वेरी गुड, कीप इट अप. सर, रिजल्ट देखे, स्टडी परफॉर्मेंस दिखाए है. पीएटी कम होने के बावजूद भी आपने हमारा डिविडेंड इंक्रीज किया है ₹23 एस अगेंस्ट ₹21, ₹2 के शेयर पर. इसके लिए मैं आप सभी को धन्यवाद देते हुए कहूंगी कि सर, ये हमारी कंपनी को जो वेरियस अवार्ड्स भी मिला है, इसके लिए भी बहुत बहुत बधाई. और ये परफॉर्मेंस एंड अवार्ड्स के लिए मैं कहूंगी सर कि ये हमारे डायनेमिक चेयरमैन श्री दीपक भाई और हमारी स्मार्ट एंड इंटेलिजेंट एमडी श्रीमती रेणु जी, आप दोनों की लीडरशिप में और पूरी टीम का ये वर्क है, तो कहूंगी कि आपकी लीडरशिप में हमारी कंपनी ने ये कर दिखाया है. तो बहुत बहुत हार्दिक बधाई देते हुए कहूंगी, डे बाय डे आपकी खुशियां हो जाए डबल, आपकी जिंदगी से दूर रहे हर ट्रबल. भगवान आप सबको रखे बिल्कुल फिट. अब आपकी कंपनी में और आपकी जिंदगी में आने वाले हर दिन हो सुपरहिट. सर, जो क्वेरीज आ गई है वो रिपीटेशन ना करते हुए सिर्फ 2 ही क्वेरीज पूछना चाहूंगी. सर, कोविड-19 की वजह से आपने इस साल भी ये वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिस के थ्रू एजीएम की है, तो सर पूछना चाहूंगी कि बैलेंस शीट प्रिंटिंग, पोस्टिंग, हॉल बुकिंग वगैरह नहीं करना पड़ा, तो कितने अमाउंट कंपनी ने सेव किए. और सर, ₹50 to 100 करोड़ के डिफॉल्टर कितने पार्टी है और हो सके तो उनका नाम बताइए. इसी के साथ में लास्टली सर, ये वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिस मीटिंग के लिए कहूंगी, जो बात आप में है आपकी तस्वीर में नहीं, आप सबसे मिलना, बातें करना बड़ा अच्छा लगता है. एनीवे, भगवान ने चाहा तो नेक्स्ट ईयर हम जरूर मिलेंगे. इसी के साथ में ज्यादा ना बोलते हुए नेक्स्ट मंथ रक्षाबंधन का पवित्र त्योहार आ रहा है, तो दीपक भाई, मैं आपको और हमारे पूरे बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स को रक्षाबंधन की और सभी एम्प्लॉयज बहन भाइयों को भी और शेयर होल्डर बहन भाइयों को भी रक्षाबंधन की शुभकामनाएं देते हुए कहूंगी, फूलों की खुशबू, कलियों की बहार, चांद की चांदनी, अपनों का प्यार, मुबारक और सबको रक्षाबंधन एंड आने वाले सभी त्योहार. इसी के साथ धन्यवाद. आई विश यू ऑल दी बेस्ट फॉर द फ्यूचर सक्सेस. आज आपने जो रेजोल्यूशन रखा है वो सभी में फुल्ली सपोर्ट करते हुए कंपनी के लिए शुभकामनाएं देती हूँ. हमारी कंपनी दिन दोगुनी रात चौगुनी तरक्की करती रहे, ताकि आप हमें ईयर बाय ईयर बेटर परफॉर्मेंस के साथ बेटर डिविडेंड और नियर फ्यूचर में बोनस भी दे पाए. धन्यवाद. थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर टेक्निक.
Thank you, Shobna Mehta.
Thank you very much. So that was the last question. I now hand over the proceedings back to Mr. Parekh. Over to you, sir.
Okay, let me make some general points before I go to the specific questions asked by our shareholders. The figures, the profit numbers for the year ended March 31, 21 are not comparable with that of the previous year. In the previous year, we had recorded a fair value gain consequent to the merger of Group Finance with Bandhan Bank, which amounted to 9,020 crores. So the profit figures are also not comparable due to profit on sale of investments, which was much lower at 1,398 crores this year compared to 3,500 last year. The other point I'd like to add is that dividend income received during the year was lower as compared to the previous year. In the first half of the year under review, the regulators for banks and insurance companies did not permit payment of dividends from profits pertaining to the financial year ended March 20, owing to uncertainties due to COVID. So the comparable figures are not there. Profit on sale of investments, dividend, and sale of investments. The other point I would like to mention, again, one shareholder mentioned that we would have to appoint 2 new audit firms for conducting the audit for 21-22. The corporation is in the process of identifying suitable audit firms, and the requisite approval of the members will be sought in the near future. And this is again a mandatory requirement by the Reserve Bank of India to have 2 auditors and to change the existing auditors. Regarding Mr. Irani and Mr. Nasser Manji, the entire board would have liked them to continue, but they have completed 2 5-year terms. And again, this is according to the regulations that they mandatorily have to step down. And we are in the process of identifying suitable candidates for the appointment of new directors, and the requisite approval of the members will be sought shortly. Reappointment of Mr. Mistry is for 3 years and not for 5 years. Now, many shareholders asked about COVID. Let me say the total employees impacted in HDFC Limited were 809. 805 have recovered. 1 has deceased, while 3 are still under treatment. While HDFC sales, we had 224 impacted for COVID, 221 have recovered, 2 have passed away, and 1 is active. I think one shareholder also mentioned that the cost income ratio has come down to 7.7% compared to 9% because of the due to lockdown and restrictions leading to lower expenses, lower travel expenses, lower conveyance expenses, electricity expenses, and stationery and printing and other expenses have come down. The other point I'd like to make is average all India age in HDFC is 35, and the total male-female ratio is 74 to 26. Total number of employees on 5th July are 3,379. 85%, that is 2,858, have been vaccinated with a single dose, at least with 1 dose. Many have taken 2 doses. Mr. Tiwari had asked about measures HDFC is taking to ensure safety of its employees. A daily health declaration app to track the health of employee and family members has been installed. Employees with comorbidities, expecting mothers, women employees with children below 1 year of age are advised to work from home. COVID task force has been created at all our main branches. Our offices are functioning at maximum 50% capacity. However, as you know, different states have different guidelines, and we strictly go by the guidelines issued by different states. And we have prepared detailed standard operating procedures and guidelines and circulated it to all our employees. Back to work and back to office handbooks have been prepared. I mentioned about the COVID. Office rentals on cost-cutting measures, you wanted to know what were the cost-cutting measures. Office rentals were renegotiated across the country. Since there was a reduction in domestic and international travel, I mentioned all this. No increments to employees was given for the period 19 and 20. For the financial year 19-20, no increments were given. Rationalization of manpower and recruitment of manpower only on a need-based basis. Now let me go to the first question, Asha Lata Maheshwari. I think we, the board of directors, would also like a physical meeting. We have done this for 2 years. Hope we can meet personally next year. You wanted bonus. This is our 44th year. I think the board we have a full attendance. The board members have heard you. You must understand we are a financial company. We have to be cautious. We have to be conservative. We have to be prudent. We can't just declare dividends freely. Our last bonus was in 2002. And I think our last split was in 2010. Now, in 2010, we did split the shares. Now the request is to split from 2 to 1. We'll have a look at it. The board has heard you. I think Agarwal and his team have done a remarkable job. I think every board meeting, the board recognizes the role played by Ajay and his team for sending minutes, sending board papers, contacting the shareholders. So we also, on my behalf, I would like to thank the secretarial team led by Ajay Agarwal for the phenomenal work that they have been doing. Ashalata ji also said Keki Mistry. Keki Mistry always comes out with good results. He is very hardworking, and some of the answers I'm sure he will give after I complete. Santosh Saraf. Again, Ajay Agarwal, awards, deposit to be more attractive. Now we have deposit products which suit investors across all age groups. Our monthly income plan, the MIP, along with other interest payout options like quarterly interest payment, half yearly or annual interest payments, are a preferred investment for senior citizens who require steady and regular income. Similarly, we also offer cumulative option where interest is compounded annually and paid on maturity, which is also a scheme which we have. Then you deposit to make it more attractive, extend the term of deposits. You wanted it for a longer period. Work from home, I've answered. Personal meeting after COVID, yes, we can look at it. Vaccination also I have answered. Lekha Shah, thank you for the arrangements, and you were happy with that. Mark-to-market investments at HDFC Limited on March 31st, 2021. The unrealized gains is 2,61,590 crores. Now I know Mr. Bapat and Mr. Deepak Kapoor and I think one other gentleman did talk about it, Kamal, but let me answer that when their turn comes. So we carry an unrecognized gain of 2,61,000. This is again, someone mentioned that there are two types of accounting standards. And some of our subsidiaries use the Indian GAAP. We have to use Ind AS. So it just gives a little distorted view. Lekha Shah also asked amount and name of PSU. NPA provisions have been made. We don't have any PSUs which have gone under our NPA. So we have arranged vaccination camps across the country for our employees. As I mentioned, 85% have been vaccinated. All the branches, offices of HDFC follow the guidelines issued by the respective state governments, local authorities. The permitted number of employees work from office after maintaining requisite protocols, and the remaining employees work from home. Sir Kaushik Saukar, I know Mr. Saukar, I have met you in the past on a number of occasions. I know you are a chartered accountant, and you wanted Ajay to contact you after the meeting. I know you have some disabilities, and if you want, if we can give any certification work or any possible work, I've always told our the management to see if any work can be given to you. So we will try. I think Mr. Rangan is here. Ajay is here, they've heard you. Number 5 is Patel. Ajay Agarwal, Keki Mistry, 3 years. He didn't want 5 years. We could have given him 10 years, but he didn't want even 3 years. The board has to force him on accepting a 3-year term. Then total debt, you wanted now, we are a lending agency. The total debt number is more important in a manufacturing company and the debt equity. Our total debt is 4.4 lakh crores. Increase in bank shares to 30%, I don't think will be permitted by the Reserve Bank of India. 189 crores odd is the amount of CSR. Our 2% target was 169.21, but we were carrying forward some old commitments which we have completed at the end of this year, a commitment which we had given to the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. This was on interpretation issues of what percent, 2% profits after what deductions. So we clarified it with the Ministry of Company Affairs, and over the last 3 years, we made up the loss. So that's why it shows carry forward 15-16 of 20 crores. So total is 189 crores. Third wave, we all have to wait and see. But everyone what I read and what I hear says that as more and more people are vaccinated across the world, even if the third wave comes, the impact, the severity is not going to be that severe. And we've seen in some other countries that there is no need for hospitalization and there is no need for ICU beds. Let's hope we in India get more and more people vaccinated. The key is more vaccination. Ergo and Life, we are very happy with our investments in both of them. We had to reduce them because the Reserve Bank of India asked us to reduce our shareholding in Ergo from 50.6 to 50. Manoj Gupta, you are happy with the results. Ajay Agarwal, impact of COVID I've mentioned. Split, I know you mentioned split, that you need liquidity. It's better for liquidity. It is better for increasing the number of shareholders. It is also better for improving market capitalization. We understand that, and I'm sure the board will consider it at the right time. You were happy with the CSR. You recommended bonus debentures. I'm sure Keki has made a note of it and he'll have a look at it. Hard action on during COVID, I don't think we have taken any severe action against any employees. Come to Calcutta. I would love to come to Calcutta if we are able to, or Kolkata, as you say, if we are able to travel. And customers, impact of COVID, I just wanted to say that customers are continuing to be served through the online platforms of the corporation. And on the liquidity you mentioned, we have gradually unwound the high liquidity levels as seen in the previous quarter. You see, the first wave of COVID, there was total shortage of liquidity, shortage of capital. Companies were unable to raise money. So we had to keep a much larger buffer as liquidity. So the average daily balance in the liquid funds for the quarter ended has come down. And with the various liquidity measures taken by RBI, the corporation is maintaining comfortable liquidity levels and minimize the negative carry which we have. The more the liquidity we keep, there is a negative carry. Any plans to list any other companies? Not for the moment. List Ergo is not for the moment. Increase rate for senior citizens, I've talked about it. We already give a 0.25% increase. Mrs. Mascarenhas, everyone is talking about Ajay Agarwal. I think Ajay Agarwal, we should make chairman now. Again, Mrs. Mascarenhas, you were happy with the awards. Interest rate, I told you we give 0.25 more for senior citizens. Inorganic acquisitions, we are always open for acquisitions, and we are always keeping our ears and eyes open if any good proposal comes to us. Loans under CLSS, as on 31st March 2021, 2.54 lakh beneficiaries have been awarded the CLSS scheme, 2.54 lakhs. 15, we have so the loans, these are individuals, the loans have been 39,333 to these 2.54 lakh individuals, where the subsidy amount is 5,211 crores. We feel in HDFC that this is an excellent scheme for a first-time homeowner because he gets some down payment upfront and he is able to meet the requirements. And it has worked seamlessly because the government allocates the money to National Housing Bank and we get a reimbursement from National Housing Bank. And you would be glad to know that every year we have done the highest amount of loans under CLSS. We have about a 16% share of the government subsidy. Now you wanted insurance. You know, we are a very strong company. Since beginning, we are AAA. Why should we take insurance and pay insurance premium to get our deposits matured? And we are not a bank, so we don't come under this Deposit Guarantee Corporation. Ergo listing, I said it will take time, but we will look at it at the right time. Happy with the results, and Ajay Agarwal, Mr. Mascarenes, Yusuf Rangwala, Ajay Agarwal, meeting, you have been taken care of, people have looked after you and got you on the link. LIC Housing, yes, LIC Housing is a competitor and we compete with LIC Housing and they are a very well-run company. We have nothing against LIC Housing, it's a well-run company. Now we looked at Divan Housing or some other companies you talked about, but we look at all these opportunities only if we find it worth looking at it or worth pursuing, we go further into it. Gautam Tiwari, Ajay Agarwal, happy with the team. You talked about bonus. 50 years may be a good time to look at a bonus. December 2002, I mentioned Ergo Credila listing. We are still small. We have to wait for some time and grow these companies before they are ready, vaccinated. I talk about vaccination. Cost cutting also, I mentioned there has been enormous efforts on cost cutting. And for reappointment, wishing bright and shiny future. On this reappointment of Mr. Nasser Manji and Irani, the cooling off period is 3 years according to SEBI. Someone asked in 6 months, can we get them back? The period is 3 years. Ronald Fernandez, I mentioned, is there any employee? I mentioned cost income ratio has come down to 7.9%, Mr. Tiwari. RBI being the new regulator of the corporation. HDFC is classified as NBFC HFC. RBI is the new regulator. NHB continues to perform certain functions as mandated by NHB. Last bonus I gave you, subdivision we talked about. Okay, now Ronald Fernandez, right? Again, you wanted bonus, Golden Jubilee. You are always very positive and you do all the number calculations which goes above my head. Dipankar Purkaesta. Complex structure, simplify, standalone mortgage company. Let there be a holding company like Bajaj Finance. Asset light strategy. Now, this is all well said, but you see, if you are a holding company, who's going to give us the capital? Bajaj is a family-run company. Bajaj Finance can put any amount of money in the holding company when their subsidiaries need money. If HDFC splits itself into two companies, the housing vertical and a holding company, where would we raise money all the time when all our subsidiaries need money? So it's a little complex. We are not a family-run company. Many family-run companies have this holding company concept. 70% relationship with the bank is bilateral. It's not mandatory. Bank is very useful to us because they source loans for us. They are far more represented across the country than we are. And so they procure the applications and they send it to us and we appraise it, we disperse it, and 30% is the bilateral arrangement which they buy back. We have developed skills to go into tier 2 and tier 3 cities. A fair amount of our business is now coming from smaller cities. So the GRU divestment has not impacted us. And we have opened small service centers in smaller towns and smaller cities. NPA is what is the new normal? I wish the new normal is 1%. But as you know, because of COVID, families are having a difficult time. We hope that COVID is behind us and people don't lose jobs. Mortgage guarantee, I don't think it's prevailing. It's there, but I don't think we have not used it. I agree, in Eastern India, we are very, very small, but we make up a little by doing higher CSR in the Eastern region. The developers in Eastern India are very few, while the developer community who build houses are much more in Southern India, Northern India, and Western India. Like we do construction finance to builders on a selective basis. Our construction finance book in East is very limited because there are very few organized developers with a good balance sheet, with a strong reputation, with a credible name. Shobna Mehta, Ajay Agarwal, balance sheet, 21 to 23% dividend, awards, you were happy. You wanted to know depositors above 50 or 100 crores. Savings on account of holding on AGM. Actually, the cost of holding physical AGM, virtual AGM is exactly the same. It's cost us about 7 odd lakhs even for digital. You wanted to know names of depositors over 50 crores. This is a private information. We are not allowed to give out these names, ma'am. I'm glad you were able to connect after the initial time when your turn came, you were unable to connect us, but we could hear you very clearly. Adil Irani, this is the first time I have heard. I have known my friend UK Sinha for many years, but this is the first time I've heard you called him United Kingdom Sinha. I think it's a very good idea. We all will call him United Kingdom Sinha. You know, your issue about tax and one window tax, 15H form, it's really not in our hands. It's really the finance ministry that has to take. You want a rights issue, we will look at it when we need more capital. Thank you for your comments. I'm just seeing if I've missed out anything. Okay, Atil Irani is done. 15, 16, 17 were Sharad Kumar Shah and his family. No, we are not using blockchain. Ajay Agarwal is coordinating, you know, every year or twice a year, the Reserve Bank calls us with all our subsidiaries and associates, and all the regulators are there. And Ajay Agarwal coordinates that. So in effect, he is a group secretary, but without naming him as a group secretary. See, our quarterly one results which have been announced yesterday for the life and last week for the bank as well as the asset management company, since we got the life numbers only yesterday, we could not consolidate it on time, and therefore our board meeting to consider the Q1 results are on September 2nd.
August 2nd.
Sorry, August 2nd. Sorry, August 2nd. I meant August 2nd. You are happy with the 23 rupees dividend, excellent company's annual report. Bandhan, what 10-year figures you wanted? I'm sure Angan has heard this. We'll see if in a summary we can give a longer period. Disbursement during June 21 was 79% higher compared to May 21. Retail disbursements during Q1, these will be announced, but some of these numbers we had already given it to the stock exchange. As I mentioned, the accounts are not comparable because of the Bandhan gain, profit on sale of investments and dividends. We were restricted to pay dividends. The bank was restricted to pay dividends. Retail disbursements, again, these are numbers which we have given to the exchange, higher by 181% in Q1. Last year, April, May, June, everything was under lockdown. So there were no disbursements or no applications. The corporation is required to transfer shares for which dividend has been unclaimed for 7 years. Till date, we have transferred 16 lakhs unclaimed shares corresponding to unclaimed dividend for 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, 12, 13, 12, 13, pertaining to 1,769 shareholders. And details of the shares transferred to the fund, to the IEPF, has been is available on the website of our corporation. How much did we gain by selling 56% in GRU to Bandhan Bank? 9,019. Sharad Kumar Shah, I think we've answered that. Nirlon, you talked about Nirlon. Now, Nirlon factory has been converted into a commercial block. And yes, we have funded the commercial block. And now all the rents there, and there are large companies like JP Morgan and Bank of America and others who are doing data processing and back office work there in Goregaon. And we are getting all the rents directly from the tenants. Number 18, Mr. Vora, many years you have been with an FT holder. Thank you for your trust in us. And you have been a shareholder. I don't think this Bandhan thing, you see, microfinance companies are the first one getting impacted because of COVID. We have to give a couple of years after COVID goes away for them to recover and get back to their original strength. When we did this Bandhan merger with GRU, there was no COVID in sight. And you know, you were having difficulty about branches, but we have a branch in Lower Parel. So it's fairly close to where you are now. We have a branch which takes deposits and online in Lower Parel. Tamal, I thought you were a journalist and an author. Now you become a shareholder speaker. And I was impressed by the number of books I saw behind you. Some of them must be authored by you, I know that. Ajay Agarwal, Q1 balance of the year. RBI feels 50% is that the profit we made by selling that 0.6% of Ergo and Good Host, which will be declared in this quarter on 2nd of August. Cost income ratio has come down, as you said. Lost customers and gain customers is part of the game. I think we lose less and gain more. See, Yes Bank was a rescue operation. The entire financial system got together and under the supervision of the Reserve Bank, and and State Bank was the lead, and we all got together and decided to salvage Yes Bank, because that improves the stability of the financial sector and it gives more confidence to retail depositors. And that's the reason we put some money in it. And we have a prohibition from RBI. We can't sell it for 3 years. 25% of the stake can be sold, but otherwise the balance can be sold after a period of time. Bandhan, you mentioned brand value, we get some money. Now, on borrowing powers, it was my mistake. In the notice, there are 9 items, but the first item is approval of accounts standalone, and the next item, which is part of the first resolution, is approval of consolidated accounts. So number 8 and 9, I know there is no 10th resolution. Number 8 and 9 are special resolution, which are borrowing powers and issuing or non-convertible debentures. Mandatory for. I agree. Insurance, make it mandatory for house borrowers. Many countries abroad has this mortgage insurance. If you want a housing loan, you have to take an insurance, and that secures the housing loan also. But you know, there are different regulators. We've tried in the past, but we have not succeeded. And unless the entire system does it, if one housing finance does it, then it doesn't make sense, because the EMI goes up and then they compare the EMI between 2 organizations. Rishikesh Chopra. Secure remote connection through VPN was provided to all the staff members that enable them to connect to the business applications, and with proper control and authentication. We have implemented MS Teams as a collaboration tool. We have not asked any employees to leave. Cost cutting is a regular exercise. This year the cost cutting was much better, because I mentioned rents and electricity and travel, and these costs were reduced. We are always looking at new products, but it's a simple housing loan product is a vanilla product, and there's very little variations we can do to housing loan products, and we are only a housing finance company. Bharat Bapat, Vinayak Bapat. I mentioned of NM and JJ, Ajay Agarwal. You are happy with our solar panels. You are happy with our real estate portfolio, LED, outstanding loans after sale, 73. Pie chart, I think Rangan and the finance team has heard you. You want different items for last year and this year comparison. Our CSR members, they do not charge any fees. Jalaj Dani is a CSR member with the management, with myself, Keki and Renu. We have regular CSR meetings, and we've given the details in the report. I agree, all our companies have different regulators. We have 5 regulators in our group, starting from the Reserve Bank of India, SEBI, insurance regulator, National Housing Bank, and pension regulator. Amongst our companies, we have 5 different regulators. I think even on the, you said there was some mistake on fees paid to independent directors and fees paid to me. I had a look at it. One is about 1920 and one is about 2021. So there's no discrepancy there. Page 34 and 64. There is no discrepancy there. Your pie chart I mentioned. Data centers, yes, we have our data centers, and we do cross-selling between subsidiary companies. And HDFC sales really brings us housing loans, but they also sell insurance products. Mr. Jamadar. New branches, headwinds. See, Apollo, we merged with Apollo Healthcare and HDFC Ergo in order to increase our presence in the health insurance, which as after COVID will become the main growth area according to me. We do not have, I don't think we have much investment in any unicorns. Yes, education is a good area where we should look at, even investment in tech education. Some of the valuations of Byju's and other edu tech companies have gone up significantly. Now, ESOPs, you mentioned Black-Scholes, we are using, whatever method we are using is as per SEBI requirements. We have no choice in that. Headwinds. Now, I think the only headwind I see is COVID. I don't see any other headwind. At the same time, I see a tailwind that people have realized that working from home, the children are studying from home, joint family are working from home, and we see a lot of incremental housing happening during this time, people moving from 1 to 2 bedroom or 2 to 3 bedroom. So I think the COVID realization is that they need a slightly larger home. It would be better to borrow and improve the space you have in your homes. ADR, GDR, we don't have any ADR, GDR at the moment. I think that's all what you asked, Jamada. Humayun, yes, physical meeting. We all are waiting for a physical meeting. Manoj Maheshwari, bonus mentioned. HDB doesn't belong to us. It's a wholly owned subsidiary of the bank. The bank board will have to take a call. Ergo, we will let it grow a little bit and then we will look at listing. Bharat Shah, you were happy with the dividend policy. Bonus, you wanted bonus and you were again happy with Ajay Agarwal and the team. Vinod Agarwal, also Agarwal, you were happy with him. I agree. Even for me, a hard copy is better to understand, to read, to mark, to note, rather than a online copy. It's extremely cumbersome and very difficult to understand. 2 accounting standards I've talked about. Ergo reduction was mandatory and the profit will come during this quarter. We'll be announcing on 2nd August. Bala Subramaniam, you were happy with the CSR. We had some arrears which we have made up now, as I mentioned. You are happy with the ESG. We want to be the best in that. We are trying hard. Yes, we did this QIP and you were not happy with the QIP, I think, I thought. Restructured loans wherever possible, we had to restructure loans. Bonus you wanted higher dividend. I think we've talked about that. Dinesh Bhatia, happy with the dividend. Hariram Chaudhary, CSR spend. Members of the CSR committee, I mentioned Jalaj. Mr. Sanghvi, cooperation of the team. CLSS mentioned. I agree, you said educate. We have to educate more of sense of family, sense of saving. And even one other question earlier was savings growth in India. I think Indians by nature are saving conscious for a rainy day. And despite COVID expenditure and additional health expenditure which families have, and yes, the savings rate may have come down, but I'm convinced it is temporary and the savings rate will go up to its original level once we are behind COVID. You are happy, Mr. Sanghvi, you said you are happy to provide pro bono service. I'm sure Mr. Agarwal has heard you. Deepak Kapoor, investments in subsidiaries. How do we benefit? See, we do benefit. The bank gives us 25-30% of the loans that we do are sourced by HDFC Bank. Now, on the stock price being flat, we can't comment on the stock price. We personally, who work in HDFC, feel we'd had a very good year considering the issues we had with the mobility, with the contactless or not contacting people, work from home. Despite, I think we have done quite well. And as you mentioned, housing in only outstanding housing loans are only 11% of GDP. It has only one way to go, higher and higher. And if you see some of the neighboring countries of ours and some of the larger economies, it's in very high numbers. So we have to catch up. And so we are very positive on the future of HDFC. Now, investment subsidiaries, we do benefit. As insurance, if we can make take health insurance, if we can make our employees life products, then our safer. These are all interconnected businesses. That's the reason we have gone into this. Mr. Madhevia, CSR, you were happy with that. 189 crores. We have a comprehensive section on our website on our ESG initiatives. We request you to kindly check the same. I think I've answered all. Keki, do you want to take on if I've missed out some?
I think, Deepak, you answered most, but just maybe one or two which I could add to. Mrs. Patel, speaker number 5, there was a question on foreign exchange expenditure. What are the foreign exchange expenditure we incur for? So there are two types of foreign exchange expenditure. One is the interest that we pay on overseas borrowings, on external commercial borrowings, and the other is the expenses we incur on our overseas offices. Gautam Tiwari, his question was on the outlook for the real estate sector in India, residential real estate sector, and I think Deepak partly answered that. I think the sector is set to grow. There is a structural demand that will keep coming for housing in the years to come for a variety of reasons. One is housing is today a lot more affordable than it ever was in the past. Secondly, penetration levels of mortgages, someone mentioned, is only 11%. That, compared to other countries in our neighborhood, is much, much lower. Thirdly, if we look at the demographics in India, 2/3 of our population is below 35 years of age. And understand people in India, people generally look at buying a house only when they are in their late 30s. So a lot of people today have not even thought of buying a house. But over the next 1, 3, 5, 7, 10 years, all these younger people will get to an age where they will necessarily need. My sense is we will see a continuous structural increase in the demand for housing in India. Also, the pandemic, Deepak mentioned, because of the pandemic, it has created a need for people to look at bigger houses, larger houses, more spacious houses, and things like that. Tamal Majumdar, couple of questions. One is on the sale of Ergo shares and Good Host. Deepak, you mentioned profits will be booked in the first quarter of this year. Total profit will be 263 crores. His question was also on provisioning made during financial year 21. So total provision was 2,948 crores. Third question was on warrants. The warrant money that we received, 180 rupees per share, has gone as a credit to the equity capital. There is a note reflecting this. The details of this note are on page 159, and the note number is 26.6. Now, in addition to the 180 rupees that have been paid by the warrant holder also has to pay us 2,165 rupees a share at the time of converting the warrant into a share. The last date for conversion is 11th August 2023. So the total issue price will be 180 rupees plus 2,165, which is 2,345 rupees. Insurance, you mentioned, insurance cannot be made mandatory as per NHB guidelines. Name usage fees, he asked, total name usage fees we received was 192 crores. Mr. Balasubramanian asked about why we issue capital, and I think that was also a question which Deepak Kapoor had asked. The primary reason we raise capital is because HDFC, besides being a mortgage company, is also a financial holding company. So we need to invest in our subsidiaries. We need to invest capital to fund their capital requirements. Now, the regulatory requirement in India is that any investment we make in any of our subsidiaries is a direct reduction from our tier 1 capital. So therefore, when we put the capital into the bank or into any of our subsidiaries, that amount that we have invested directly gets reduced from our tier 1 capital. So it has a direct impact on our capital ratio. So as and when we get good acquisition opportunities in our subsidiaries, that capital will get deployed. I think that finishes all the questions.
Thank you, Keki. As mentioned earlier, those who want to vote may do so now. The e-voting facility would be available for the next half an hour. The corporation has appointed Mr. Bhaskar Upadhyay, partner of NL Bhatia and Company, and associates practicing company secretaries as scrutinizer to scrutinize the e-voting process in a fair and transparent manner. I authorize Mr. Ajay Agarwal, Company Secretary, to receive and declare the voting results along with the scrutinizer's report, intimate the same to stock exchanges, and place the same on the corporation. The resolutions as set forth in the notice shall be deemed to be passed today, subject to receipt of requisite number of votes. With your permission, I call this meeting to an end. Thank you for attending. Please stay safe and stay healthy.